the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuff and things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Good morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. And good to have back with us the champ. We said we were going to, right at the top of the show, honor him and celebrate him. Because then we'd have to move on. We'd have to talk about other things. But the champ, MIAA A-Conference championship coach, Drew Forrrester. Congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations, Drew.
All right, now moving on. We told him right at the top of the show we wanted to have the big celebration. Now it's like it never happened. That's the way that it goes. Now we're back to discussing the Orioles. I mean, it's like shame on us, really. Like, let's just do that. Shame on us for continuing to watch. There was basketball last night. You know, you could watch The Brutalist. It's streaming now. You could maybe talk to your wife. She seems nice, pretty. Why don't you talk to her? See what's going on in her world. What are you thinking about, huh? There's lots of options. You don't have to do this to yourself, but we choose to. We choose to. We know there's no reason to. We know they're bad. They don't have a manager. Their manager last night was talking about how many points were scored. I gotta be honest, man. Between Tony Mansolino after the game, talking about points. Do we have that? Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find that. Hang on. I had it just a second ago.
I
got it. Okay. Avi sent it out here. Where you have Twitter up?
Yes, I have Twitter up.
All right, there you go. Here's the manager after the game. It's just inspiring confidence that we understand what's going on around here. Here's the Orioles lose 5-2 or whatever the hell it was. I don't remember. After the game, though, you got a thorough explanation of what happened from the skipper, the interim skipper of the team.
Ball falls in, then, boom, a homer. Counts for 2 points instead of 1. So I actually thought Chase did a pretty good job. Kept us in the game, got us into the 6th, right?
Counts for 2 points.
Ball falls in, then, boom, a homer.
Counts for 2. We don't need to keep listening.
1. So I actually thought Chase did a pretty good job.
2 points.
He makes a good point.
2 points. That's what you get there in that situation.
Boom, a homer. Counts for 2 points instead of 1. So I actually thought Chase did a pretty good job. Kept us in the game, got us into the 6th, right? Ball falls in, then, boom, a homer. Counts for 2 points instead of 1.
Coaching change. And this is the type of stuff that genuinely makes you wonder, does anyone know what's going on here? What is happening? I'm not trying to it's absurd for me to question Tony Mansolino's knowledge of the game of baseball. He has certainly accomplished 1,000,000 times more in the game of baseball than I have accomplished. But how? How are you this deep into your accomplishments in the game of baseball and you still say points? Like you were Chris Hardwick hosting a late night show. What is the bizarro world? And I understood the point that Mike Elias was trying to make, but he kept reiterating the words head coaching. It comes off like in this new world, the new baseball order where, everything is run by the algorithm, that, like, we're trying to change it. There isn't a manager. It's pop copy. I'm your manager, B. Love that sketch. It's one of the greatest sketches in television history. I am your manager. Like that. It's that's the way it comes off. Like, dude, why do you keep saying head coaching? And it feels like, and I'm not actually suggesting this because I have no knowledge of it, but it feels like you're trying to redo baseball. Well, here we call them head coaches. We have management. The management is the front office. Then we just need a head coach on the field. That's what it feels like they're saying. I'm not actually accusing them of that because I have no knowledge of it. It might just be the clumsy way that Mike Elias was describing it. But in multiple, I watched his entire gaggle yesterday where we learned nothing, as you would expect.
Well, he was busy, so that's why he couldn't.
Right. Hectic, he said.
Right, you're right.
Things were hectic. That's why
that's
it
fair.
Took him a few days.
Right.
You know what, to be fair, when everyone asks me about anything, I'm like, hey, I haven't gotten a text back from you. That things have really been hectic. It's just been a crazy.
Things have been hectic.
It's always my response. It's like, it's been a crazy couple of days, man. And you know what everybody says? No, dude, I get it. I get it. What was like back in the day, if you wanted to call out of work, like when you were working in retail, if you wanted to call out, you would be like, dude, I've got diarrhea. Because like nobody would, what are they going to say back? Like,
proof.
Well, why don't you come in for an hour? Like nobody, if you just say that, because nobody ever wants to admit that they have diarrhea. So like if you're willing to say it, then people are like, oh, dude, that guy's got diarrhea. We can't try to get him to come into work. That'd be a terrible idea. Well, this is my new thing. Like if I haven't responded to your text, because in fairness, I have 6 billion texts. If I haven't,
congratulations on your
success,
popularity,
whatever. If you've got a text about paying me, then I'll probably respond to it. If it's about other things, I'll get to it when I get to it.
There he is.
No, we already did that. He missed it. We had a whole ceremony to celebrate him. He decided not to be here for it. We're not going to make it up. We're on to other things.
Who's this?
Oh, an observer that we brought in. It's a consultant that
nobody told me
he's
about
gonna
this.
He's gonna watch your performance, and then we're gonna make some decisions about what the show looks like moving forward.
Well, I've seen enough of the show.
Yeah, so that's his name. His name is Joe. He's from McKinsey, and he's just it's a consultant.
Okay.
Consultant firm. He's
well,
here
when you want to talk about him,
to take a look at how things are performing.
The preparation, prep work that we do.
And he's gonna after the show. Why don't you stick around for a little while after?
I've been through one of those before.
Why don't you stick around? When the show ends, why don't you come in and see him in his office?
By the way, that's how I have a sponsor.
You have a sponsor
for the show?
For this show,
yeah.
Or for one of the segments?
No, for the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm now brought to you by Be More Positive about being more positive.com.
You care so much more about it.
Be more positive about being more positive.
The number of times that like somebody will say, "Hey, do you know if that guy still does?" I'm like, I have no idea. I couldn't tell you at all.
I have a sponsor.
Okay, you got it.
So what's up? Everything good?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I can't believe that
Kids
you didn't figure out a way to screw it up. I
didn't have to do anything.
That you didn't get in the way of
that's one thing I don't do is get in the way. I let them do their thing.
Like just being there, I would fear that you would be getting in the way. I would fear
shepherd them
entirely.
along. I am like a shepherd.
Just
move them over to the gate. Here you go, boys.
Okay. So MIAA conference champions. It's a big weekend for Calvert Hall in general, right?
How about the freaking end of the game?
It was unbelievable, man. It was unbelievable.
Why wouldn't the kid have just dumped the ball down in the corner?
Well, there's still 20 seconds left.
19 seconds left.
Yeah.
Just roll the ball over in the corner.
I understand what you're saying, but in that moment,
throw it straight up in the air.
You don't do that with 19 seconds. You do that with 10 seconds.
What you did didn't work.
I understand that. Right. I saw.
It was insane.
Lots of things.
How about the game-winning goal?
Yeah, all of it was nuts. How about the terrible? To be fair, I haven't seen the replay, but from where I was sitting, the run-out call in overtime, where they said that the Calvert Hall kid was closer to the end line, was awful.
No, he was.
He was not. I understand.
No, he was.
Yeah, sure he was. Sure he was. I
Sour
get
grapes, huh? How
I
those
get
sour
it.
grapes?
No.
How those sour grapes taste? What'd you have?
That was a hell of a performance.
Spalding minus 2.5.
Well, I was screwed either way. Once it went to overtime, I was boned.
That was a heck of a game.
It was a wild weekend.
Yep.
Drew's here. He is a champ. Again. How many is that for you now?
That is 3.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like
Me and Vijay Singh.
right now, shouldn't you have moved on to greener pastures at this point? Like,
Pasture's more than green enough over there.
Towson's not going to call you. Like, do they?
They could, but
Man,
I'm very happy where I am.
Oh, I'm so sure. Right, I'm so sure. You don't want the big bucks of college.
Oh, this is Ohio State. Hold
There
on
you
a
go.
second. Hello.
There you
No, I'm
go.
good. Are we talking RG3 and Ryan
No,
Clark?
we're not going to talk about RG3 and Ryan. Who
talk
cares
about-
what any of them have to say about
on?
anything?
Whose side are you on?
I would have thought this would have interested you.
No. This,
I honestly.
no, and I'm going to go a step further. All of your fetishization of Caitlin Clark is sick and perverse.
Me?
No, not you.
Oh.
The people that are obsessive over her, like she represents something that they want her to represent. The obsession with Caitlin
Well, who are you
Clark
talking
isn't
about? Who are you picking on?
a lot of people, Drew.
What I mean, like who?
This country has a weird obsession with this girl, a bizarre obsession with her. Like, we have to protect her.
Yeah, like
She's
you're
better than us.
You're not obsessed with Katie Clark. I mean, Katy Perry.
Like, who is Katie Clark? Well, I mean, now to be fair. Now, wait a second. You settle down over there.
Soon to be Katie Clark, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Keep,
Or it might have been actually.
crossed.
There might have been a Katie Clark at one point if he hadn't screwed that up.
now, wait a
that's
second.
a whole
Now, we're
other-
not going to talk about that.
All right, so you're a Caitlin Clark hater. I didn't ever.
No, it's the exact opposite.
I'm
not
You're
a-
part of it.
No,
You're
no,
a pervert.
no.
Oh,
I like Caitlin Clark. She's a hell of a basketball player.
Right.
But like other girls are hell of basketball players. We've decided in some perverse
we've?
this country,
Gotcha.
the royal we has decided that there's only allowed to be
Big
one
Lebowski.
female basketball player,
Right.
which is sick. It's twisted. And we are having her try to represent other things. We have decided
RG3 and
all of them. They're
Ryan
all
Clark.
weirdos. They're all none of them are talking about the basketball game. They're all talking about weird, nonsensical. We have used this
Her legs.
girl to represent some other political discourse, some other race war, whatever it is. It's sick. It is truly perverted
you know
what
who's
we've
gonna
done
get
with
involved
this.
soon, and he's
The
gonna,
president, of
he's gonna
course.
fix it.
Yes, I'm sure he will. He's been doing a bang-up job.
Oh, you see gas prices?
No, I haven't. I don't bother to look.
Yeah, well, you should. Give
What?
credit where credit's due.
It depends on where you go. One week I was like, wow, did that say $2.99? Things are great. And then I went back to the same place the next week, and it was exactly what it was
Yeah,
before.
thanks a lot, Obama.
Exactly right.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
That guy hasn't done a thing for us.
Nope.
What the hell's going on there?
His name's surfacing up there in New York
All
though,
of-
this week.
All of it. Every ounce of it. RG3's a weirdo. Ryan Clark's a weirdo. None of them are correct. They're all weirdos.
Well, what did you think about the Ryan Clark commentary as it related to his wife not being black?
There's two different trains of thought there. Ryan Clark had a point that we've now bastardized. The point that Ryan Clark was making was that you're not talking about this perspective. Now, he did a poor job of explaining
Did he get fired,
that.
by the way? Or
What's
no?
that? No.
Did he get
why-
fired? No,
why would he
okay.
get fired?
Somebody else asked me that today. I was meeting
What
with
the
someone.
hell would he be fired for?
Don't get mad at me.
No, I'm asking.
Someone said to me, "Did he get fired to me?" And I said, "I have no idea, but I'll ask Glenn."
But I'm asking what he would be fired for.
Over inflammatory comments.
But he didn't make any inflammatory comments.
Never mind. Move on.
I'm asking.
I don't. I'm not saying he did. I'm asking. Someone asked me this morning, did he get fired over that? And I
Okay.
said, I don't know.
He
I will
certainly
ask
did not
Glenn.
get fired. I
Okay,
don't know what he
that's-
would get
that's it.
fired for.
You don't have to say it. I don't know what he get fired for. Did he get fired?
No.
That's it. Done. Now
Okay.
move on.
It's very weird.
No,
man.
but just move on. Okay, go ahead.
There was a point there to be
Should've.
made. What Robert Griffin III said is so insanely stupid. It doesn't
And
involve.
what did he say?
He said look at her face. This is proof she hates this girl.
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
so
Gotcha.
that's so sick. It's so I just desperately want attention on the internet. This is why I hate the
And
fact
he
that you're
said
bringing
which
it up.
one? Reese hates Clark?
Yes, that the way that she responded to a hard foul.
I don't
you
think
know,
either one of them like one another.
no. It's the opposite of that. Neither one of them really cares about the other one. They don't think that much about each other.
Yeah, I don't think they like each other.
I think they're competitors. I think they compete.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
I think it's okay that they don't like each other.
But you keep saying that. You have no idea. And the evidence would suggest otherwise.
Oh, okay.
The actual evidence would suggest they're friendly.
Okay.
This is what happens when you play sports.
They're probably texting back and forth going, there's another $2 million we just made.
Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea if they do that part or not.
What'd you get from Twitter this month?
They're actually typically in their interactions quite friendly. But when you get fouled hard on a basketball floor, could you imagine this? We are so sick when we talk about this. Imagine someone in an NBA game hard fouling
this is not
someone.
hanging on the rim, by the way.
Thank you. Hard fouling someone else, and our response is like, hey, great job, dude. Like, it's just sick the way that we respond to this.
Man, you are fired up today.
Because we have a problem in this country.
Let's talk about the Orioles.
Sure. Talk about them. God.
This is better than talking about the Orioles.
Sick and perverse. Watching them.
We're going to turn around, I think.
So he's a weirdo, and he says something weird, and then Ryan Clark starts making a point that is relevant and then goes somewhere else with it that still was relevant but allows. Like Robert Griffin III's response was, oh, you're talking trash about my wife, which is not what happened. He didn't say anything like that. He didn't say a word about his wife. He just said, you don't have this perspective. You don't have it. You're not presenting this perspective of the difficulties that are faced by black women. You're not doing that. He said it in a very weird way. It's not the way that I would make the point, but the point is well taken. The problem is, the moment you do that, it allows for everybody to try to bastardize it and say, we've all had this happen where we tried to make a point.
Did you hear the Steelers played a charity game on Sunday up in North Hartford?
Yes, you got. You can run through it all. Hit the music. Let's just do it real quick. Let's get through all this.
Did you hear it?
Stop it. Let's get through all of the material. Whatever. Hit whatever you want to hit, and we'll get through all of it.
Oh, we got to do it. I don't even know what's been going on.
No? You're too busy paying attention to the Orioles?
We'll do something else.
You want to do the other one? You want to see what's going on?
We'll do this real quick.
All right.
114-88 last night. If you had the under,
eked it out.
Unfortunate. And, who played? I don't even. Oh, Oklahoma City beat. I just pay attention to the totals. I don't even. Oklahoma City beat the Minnesota. What are they? Thunder?
Yeah, Thunder. Yeah.
Yes,
no,
exactly.
Oklahoma City Thunder. Minnesota.
No. You had it right.
Timberwolves.
No. You had it right. Minnesota Thunder. Everybody knows
114-88 the final.
Now, why do you know the final? Because you bet on it?
No, I follow sports.
Yeah. Okay. But don't
Put
lie.
that down in your notebook there.
We're not gonna.
Joey.
We're not gonna lie.
Put that down in your notebook, Joey.
We're not gonna do that.
114-88 final. Game one of the Western Conference Finals goes to Oklahoma City, who narrowly got past the Nuggets in the earlier round.
They are French.
And who is it? Oh, Knicks and Pacers.
Yeah.
I don't. Could be wrong on this. Have they played yet?
No, they haven't.
Okay. Calm down over there. Knickerbockers and the Pacers.
Yeah, be very careful when you say Knickerbockers.
Okay.
Be very careful. You better make sure it's a hard
Saturday Night Live the other night.
I did. What?
You didn't see you know how every year on the last show.
Oh, they trade jokes. Yeah.
You didn't hear the.
I'm trying to remember which one. I don't remember it.
Steve Kerr.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Nick
gosh.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was good.
Oh
That was good. Yeah. Yep.
Oh jeez. Anyway, so there you go. That's your update.
There you go. That's what he's got.
Well, that's what I got for hanging on the rim.
Who do you think's going to win? You're the guy. You told us all it was going to be
Who's
Boston.
got home ice in that? The Knicks?
No.
Yeah.
Pacers?
Oh, they do?
Knicks.
Yeah.
Hello?
I'm not the host of Hanging on the
right.
Rim, am I?
I got a weird feeling. I think the Pacers are winning.
Okay.
Pacers and Thunder.
They're like the hottest team in basketball.
Name
right?
3 Knicks.
Duh. Pat Ewing.
There we go.
Mark Jackson. And
always Mark Jackson.
Oh no!
No.
Oh
I'm just trying to come up with a
host of Hanging on the Rim is struggling.
relax. Dave DeBusschere.
Dave DeBusschere. Very good. There you go. That's 3 Knicks.
I mean,
right there. That's 3 Knickerbockers.
Right. What do you need?
Knicker.
What do you need from me? I got plenty more. Plenty more where that came from.
Yeah, do you?
Sure.
Name 3 Timberwolves.
Oh, easy. Kevin Garnett.
Right.
Definitely Kevin Garnett.
Right. We got that one. Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to get this.
No, I'll get it. Just gotta give me a minute. Let's do hanging on the ice. I mean, let's do
No. 3 Timberwolves.
3 Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Oh, the dude they currently have.
The dude they currently have.
Right.
Right.
Towns.
Well, no, but technically he wasn't Timberwolf. You got that.
He's not there anymore, though.
No.
He's long gone.
Do you know what team he plays for?
Yeah, Dallas.
Keep going.
I have no idea.
He's still in the playoffs.
Yeah, Indiana.
No.
Who does he play for? Oh, he's with the Knicks.
He's with the Knicks.
All right.
You still didn't name a third Timberwolf.
But I will.
Yeah, will you?
Yeah.
Is it Timberwolf or a Timberwolf?
Timberwolf?
A Timberwolf is
I don't know.
more fun to say,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Do
drawing a
do
blank.
do do
I'm drawing a
do
blank.
do do
drawing a
do
blank.
do. Wally Zerbiak.
Oh,
There
Wally
you go.
Zerbiak, Miami of
Yeah.
Ohio.
There you go. There's
Miami
three
of Ohio.
Timberwolves.
Yeah, yeah,
There you
yeah.
have them right there.
He was a nice player.
Yeah, sure.
He
All
was
right.
a nice player. He was a good
He
shooter.
was decent. Yep.
All right,
Now
let's
time,
go to the
time
thing
for
that
this.
matters.
Yeah, sure. It's time for Shaved Ice. Shaved Ice is brought to you.
We're going to sponsor.
No, I just have to give these something.
Oh, all right.
Who do I hate the least? It's brought to you by County Sports Zone. If you want to read more about Calvert Hall's golf triumph this weekend, find it at countysports.zone. Proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com.
Well, the Maple Leafs didn't make it.
Ah,
Did you follow any of the Bissonnette and Big
no,
Caesar?
you're very obsessed with
You
that.
didn't follow the Big C's?
Unfortunately, I don't share that.
The little handicapped guy from Florida. Oh, my God.
Can't say that I'm familiar.
All right. Well, anyway, last night, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Panthers rolling on, this time in Raleigh against the Hurricanes. 5-2, your final.
That's it. There we go.
No,
That's Shaved Ice.
Maple Leafs ruining their home loss again. 0 for their last 8 in home Game 7s dating back
No.
16 years.
No.
And the Florida Panthers
Oh,
are just
boy.
rolling along.
Okay.
Western Conference Final. Dallas versus Edmonton. I think that starts tonight, right?
It does, yes.
You're the host of Shaved Ice.
I know I am.
Do you?
I'm really pulling for Edmonton in this. I want Edmonton to win.
Okay.
First time a Canadian team's won since
The century? Is
No, it's definitely the century, yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it the 70s?
I think it is. Last
Canadian-
No, it's not the 70s because
last Canadian, the Canadians in
80s,
93.
in the 80s.
no,
93,
the Canadians
okay.
did not win in 93. They made
Well, it's been since Edmonton
I thought-
won.
I thought Montreal won in 93.
Montreal won in 93?
Yeah, they
Maybe.
beat the Kings.
All right, you might be right.
Okay.
I thought that.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, no,
'cause
they
Gretzky
did. Yeah, you're
played-
right. You're right.
Gretzky
You're right.
played for
You're
LA.
right.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's a long time.
Yeah,
So
it is a long time.
32 years.
Correct. Thank you.
All right. So,
That's it.
and Alex Ovechkin said he's coming back.
There you go. That's Shaved Ice. So there's your full breakdown.
Let's get back to RG3.
Sure. Let's do that more.
Get you mad.
Weirdos. Not mad at him. We know he's a weirdo.
Calmer than you
He's
are.
been a weirdo for a long time. It's okay to say, I don't care what Robert Griffin III thinks. It's okay to say, I don't care what Ryan Clark thinks. I don't care. I just don't. But we are sick people when it comes to this girl, man. Like,
She's pretty good at basketball.
that's the problem. Well, you know what you just said? That's the appropriate response.
She's pretty good at basketball.
She's very good at basketball.
Good legs.
And if we could, now you've gone a little too far. If we could just leave it at that, if we could just say she's really good at basketball,
Good legs.
then everything would be fine.
Right.
But we can't do that. We treat her like she's supposed to
We should
represent.
rename the league after her.
No, this is where it becomes a problem.
She's the only reason anybody watches.
Now you're the pervert. Now you're the one
Pervert? How's it
that
make sense?
can't talk about it.
It only took me I got it into 3 layers
Yeah.
before I finally got blamed for the whole thing.
You're the one.
All right.
You can't just be normal about anything. You have to do this type of stuff. You have to.
The CCBA.
Yeah, go.
Or make her the
Like,
logo,
by all
right?
means.
Just
By all means.
make her the logo.
She should start her own league like Live
Just-
Golf.
Sure. That's you see how well that's gone.
Well,
Right?
more people will be watching that
Oh,
than the golf. Galen Clark Basketball Association.
well, I mean, it's these startup leagues. They've been doing great.
one-on-one.
Why not? Just go start up a league.
Right.
Because we just say these things because we're all dumb people.
They wanted it. They wanted somebody to run the league. They got somebody now finally.
Who?
WNBA.
She's running the league?
Well, pretty much.
Oh, I didn't realize
I
that.
mean,
They elected her
If
commissioner.
tomorrow she said the game should be 30 minutes, they'd make them 30 minutes.
No, that's not how it
Well,
works.
you'd see.
It's just not how any of this goes.
Should.
Appreciate it
You should.
and all. but that's not.
I'm
the way
buying
it
Gatorade
works.
left and right.
Are you?
Yep.
You were never doing that before.
Nope.
This new product that you just heard of. What is this? What is this Gatorade?
I was never moved to buy it until she started peddling it.
That's really weird. That's a really weird thing.
Oh man,
God.
what a hater you are!
Yes, I'm a hater.
You finally
I'm a
got a
hater.
star athlete.
Right.
You finally got a star.
Never had one of those
female
before.
athlete in the country, and now you don't like her.
No. I like her plenty.
Okay.
I want us to stop being weirdos about it.
Calmer
We
than you are.
all are sick.
Calmer
It's
than you
this. We have this true problem. It's look. We have a stan culture problem in this country as it is. Like once we decide something is, we can't.
It's the Ryan Flaherty thing.
Now I want to hear this.
Well, just people all over Baltimore think Ryan Flaherty should be the manager.
I don't think it's exactly like that.
It's close though,
but
because he MF'd some Yankees pitcher once.
He did. That
we
did
all
happen,
think he's great.
Right? Yeah. So he's the guy. Save that. We'll revisit it when we get to Would You Rather.
We do need a
Wednesday.
manager.
They do need a manager.
Last night, the Oriole manager actually called them points.
We already covered that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm glad you were here to start the show.
Oh, my God.
We covered that, and we covered Mike Elias multiple times in his gaggle saying they made a head coaching change.
Did he really?
Did you not catch that?
I didn't hear it.
Multiple times. He pointed out it was head coaching that needed to change.
I didn't hear that.
That one's the weirder one to me. Like,
Then the points.
oh yeah, that guy's
He's not scoring enough points.
he's here for 5 minutes. Like
Right.
he's not really the manager. He's
Right.
just the guy.
Elias
right?
is really the
Like,
de facto
and
manager.
that's, I'm telling you, I couldn't shake that when I was listening to Mike Elias. What he was really trying to say is, this is how we want to radically change baseball.
I'll run the team.
There isn't a manager. I'm the manager. You're just the
I think there's something
guy
to that.
you're just the guy that coaches.
I think there's something to that.
That's I don't
wouldn't
have
disagree
any
with that.
reason to know that, but the way that he kept saying head coaching.
well, the way they've also overly relied on the analytics, like overly. Overly.
I don't know if it's overly. I don't know that because
I
I
do.
don't. In talking to other organizations, I don't think it's any different than anybody else's.
Well, okay, but the way baseball is overly
Okay.
relying on analytics, just say that, right? To your point, the general managers sit around at the winter meetings and they say, who's going to be the first team to do it? And 15 years ago, they sat around and said, who's going to be the first team to do it? And someone said, what do you mean,
Right.
employ a female?
Mhm.
And someone said, yeah, we'll do it. You're going to be the first team to let a female be in the baseball ops? Yeah, we'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And they did it. 75 years ago, you know what they said? Who's going to be the first team to do it?
Mhm.
And Branch Rickey said, I'll do it. Sign a black player?
See, but
I'll do it.
I don't think that's how that. I think you're.
I totally think
no, I don't think that's how
someone
that
sits
went.
in that room in the winter meetings
right.
and says,
Yeah.
who's going to be the first team to not have someone in the dugout be the manager?
I
Save the $2 million.
I think it's far more like the Branch Rickey thing. Every ounce of history suggests this was just Branch Rickey saying, "I can get a competitive advantage here." What?
Okay, but
What-
this is not about Branch Rickey.
But that's my point. I don't know that this is about baseball as much as it's about the personnel involved.
Yeah, I think he thinks he knows more about baseball than Brandon Hyde.
Oh, the way that maybe not about base. That's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe.
Be honest.
Maybe it's that he knows more about how to come up with an equation that works.
I'm going to bat this Laureano cat right here because the data says I should, and this is where Hyder wouldn't have done it. And oh look, Laureano hit a double.
Yeah, but I don't
look at me.
I don't think there was any that Hyde wouldn't have done it. I think that's sort of the problem here. Like the problem is I have no idea if Brandon Hyde's a good manager or not because I think for the most part he wasn't given the opportunity to. He was given the opportunity
What's
to.
a good manager?
I don't know. And that's part of the issue here. This
mean,
is what
come
they
on,
want.
be
They
serious.
wanted to.
What's a good manager?
De-emphasize.
He was fine. He was fine managing when they were winning 95
Correct.
games.
Correct.
Come on. The whole. Someone had to pay the price for this. I'm not going to say somebody had to get fired over it. Someone had to pay the price for it. And if John Colson walked in here today and said, hey, man, got bad news for you. Numbers are awful. Something's got to shake out here.
I was gonna say, what's new?
Well, right.
All right.
But no,
what changed?
and this happens all the time, like in other areas, right? Hey, man, you would say this about a show that had 3 people on it. Hey, man, this is not going the way we thought. Somebody's got to go. Like one person's got to go, right? They would figure out, we can keep these 2, but that person's got to go. We got to make it look like we're trying something new. They had to try something new, or they're going to be 15-40, which they might be anyway. And he was the most disposable guy.
Well, the manager is always the person that goes.
Mike Elias isn't going to say, in all fairness, I gave him Charlie Morton, and I gave him Trevor Rogers, and I gave him Gregory Soto, and I gave him Tyler O'Neill. Mike Elias isn't going to say that. He's just not. He might say that today after he's fired him. Well, I did give him the groceries, but he's not going to go to David Rubenstein and say, Dave, I've made a decision. I'm going to fire myself. He's just not going to do it. So they had to fire him. But he's no better or worse than he was 3 weeks ago. He has a roster full of players who are largely underperforming. Some of them aren't, but for the most part they are. And speaking of data, the data speaks for itself. When runners are on base, none of these guys know how to hit. I don't know how that's the manager's fault, but somebody had to pay the price for those guys not being able to hit, and it turned out to be this guy. But they're certainly not going to get any better without him. And I'm not
right now.
I'm not here to say he was great, but he was fine when they were winning 95 games. And you're going to these clowns in town go, oh, they could have won 105 without him. Oh, they didn't get any hits against the Rangers. It isn't his fault that Ryan Mountcastle kept swinging at pitches that weren't strikes.
Well, okay, he's not the one that's making that decision.
A guy all you want. It ain't
there
helping.
is something to be said for. Somebody wants to believe that the manager of the team should be the guy that says, if you keep doing that, you're not playing.
Well, therein lies the rub, because when he says that, Mike Elias says he is playing
the front
today
office says,
because it's a left-handed pitcher and he hits 307 against lefties when it's on a Tuesday afternoon. He's got to play today. And Hyde says he hasn't had a hit since the Cutting Crew had a good song. And Elias goes, I don't care. He's playing today. And there's your problem. That's the over-analysis when Hyde says he hasn't had a hit, he hasn't had a good swing in 5 games. And Elias goes, I don't care. Crochet's pitching today, and he's going to hit against him.
And to be fair, we don't know what the exact line is between the two things, but I absolutely...
No, but it's very clear in this era of baseball, it's very clear that at some point there is a directive, and you can say it's a hard directive or a soft directive and fight about all the semantics. They're telling these managers, here's who has to play today. And so then why have one, to your point? To your point earlier, why have one? Why not have, who's the broad, what's her name? Melanie Newman sit down there with a hat on and say, hey, tell Cedric Mullins he's hitting in the next inning. You don't, I mean, to your point, you are getting there to the point where maybe he said that on purpose. And maybe he has such disregard for the position, he called the freaking manager a head coach. But, there's no doubt it's going in that direction. No question. That in 5 years, the Padres will announce for the first time ever they don't actually have a manager. They have a director of in-game decisions. It's going that way, 100%.
I know why you're saying that. I'm not certain that's the case, but
you know why? Because of nerds. Because these people are nerds.
There we go.
Get out
and
watch the game with your eyes.
But now you're going the other way.
And watch Caitlin Clark.
Thank you. That's what we needed to get to. And by the way, maybe she should be the manager. Maybe that's what we should do. She should just run the whole team.
Tell you what, I'd give her 10 million.
100%. Got it. I totally get it. We go on. We do.
But it's just a joke.
But there's somewhere in between what you're saying and what's there. You're going the opposite way for the sake of going the opposite way, and I get it.
I'm going the opposite.
But
I am.
There is a
old.
conversation to be had about at some point the owners, while they always are deferring to the Yale-educated, Ivy League-educated people that are running the team, at some point they need to be the ones to step in and say,
that helped over at Gilman.
Yeah. Maybe we need to consider how all of this looks and that there needs to be more of a power balance between these parties, and it needs to be more collaborative, and we need to respect. The owners were happy to say, you want to blow out all the scouts? Yeah, by all means, blow out all the scouts.
You want to take 25 minor league teams away? Eliminate them.
You mean to tell me I don't have to send people all over the country and
to
pay
watch
for their
baseball,
pay for their per diems and the whole thing?
Right.
Jeez, sign me up for that tomorrow. But what they did is they took out many aspects of baseball, of actual improvement when it comes to baseball. Hey, we're seeing this. This is something we're seeing that you should know, that we should be advanced scouting. We should be sharing those things, that information. They've taken that away from the game. At some point, the owners, this is cyclical, should sit down and say, hey, maybe we went a little too far on this. Maybe we put too much trust in the algorithm, and it's not paying off the way that we thought it would. And the first answer would be for David Rubenstein, his group, whoever wants to be the one to make the decisions, to say, as it turns out, it might be good to spend money on baseball players.
Right.
We might have botched that one.
By the way, who's Trevor Rogers winning 14 games for next year?
Good question.
Cleveland?
Norfolk?
No.
No.
Be
This
14-4 next year.
Right, like
3.17 ERA.
They say this doesn't work, and
Right.
he obviously can't do it,
Right.
and then he's Jack Flaherty.
He goes to the
somehow,
Guardians.
Right? Yeah,
Right.
100%. But no,
This is all just misplaced anger for the fact that the team's terrible and it's May.
You're angry.
The whole summer's ruined.
Well, I understand. But how much time were you going to spend watching the Orioles this summer?
Come on, man. Now you're saying dumb stuff. I mean, it's on every night of it's on every night in my house. You know that. I mean, this is very, very similar to 2007. Like, it's moribund.
Oh yeah,
to see this.
This is what it is.
But those teams were horrendous.
Right.
These kids are decent. They just don't have any heart.
Well, are they decent?
They are, but I don't know that they have a whole lot of heart.
Find out if
that's
they're
what
decent.
I would. If you said to me, "What's the biggest problem with these guys?" I don't see. There's just not a lot of heart.
Okay, I don't know if that's the case or not. I can't diagnose someone's heart. I'm not going to be capable of doing that. They're failing. There's no question about that. I don't know that Adley Rutschman's struggles are because he doesn't have heart, right? And like I can't quantify
you gave me
that.
$800,000. Let me fly around for a while, and I started losing. I'm like, pack it in too. I don't know.
I don't know what to make of it. I don't know how to define it.
It's terrible.
It's awful. It's atrocious.
This weekend, the Twins thing is a little bit of an anomaly because you got the doubleheader and it's weird, but you lost 3 games of those to the Bad News Bears in a row, and you got your ass kicked. You didn't even. That was the thing.
I mean,
it wasn't like 2-1 in extra innings.
The Nationals are a team that's going to be.
they're
going to be mad. Like you can
they're
look at
be
those.
Good in 5 years.
I don't think it's 5 years. You can look at James Wood and C.J. and say, I see what you're doing there. But it's the same question. Will they then take that group and fortify it the way that you have to fortify it? It's the thing. The brainless part about this is that
We're
of us.
no hit soon, right?
Well,
we're getting a perfect game thrown against us soon, right?
It might be today.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
Chad Patrick.
Yeah, I mean,
who's he?
I don't know who he was, but I know who the kid was last night.
Where's he from?
Who was the guy
last night for 5 innings?
I mean, my God. I look up and I'm like, does that say 1 hit?
Right.
God, that's what it is.
Right. We call that right here. We call that a Beatles.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
1 hit.
There's your material.
Right.
There's new material through Forrrester.
I don't even know which one it was. Eleanor Rigby, maybe.
Does it need to be this year? Do they need to hire the manager in season, or do they just suck it up, deal with it?
Well, here's what I would say. First of all, are they firing Elias or not?
I don't think they're inclined to fire Elias.
I would say firing the general manager in the season seems kind of futile, right? I do understand why you fire the manager in the season. I get it. Whether or not I subscribe to this particular firing, truth of the matter is I don't. But it's neither here nor there because they're going to be 15-32 with him or without him based on what the players are doing. Do you subscribe to firing the manager in the general manager in the season? I don't see where that's beneficial for 2 reasons. You do have a group in the front office who's been dedicated to getting ready for the draft. and to whatever degree you want to argue that we've been good at drafting, bad at drafting, or whatever, that it does require preparation.
Mm-hmm. And you need to make
and if you're going to fire the general manager, someone's got to run the operational aspect of it. Could you just bring one of the people underneath of him up to do it? Sure, but why would you do that? So you would wait until the end of the season for the general manager. Now your argument is, if you're going to fire the general manager, shouldn't he hire the manager? Right? Or she. Could be a female general manager. But
there has been.
If wouldn't that seem prudent? If you're going to fire their general manager,
to some extent it would seem prudent, with the flip side being that it feels like ownership needs to say to the general manager, you're not going to have the power that you had previously. And
I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because David Rubenstein doesn't know what he's doing. But the answer to your question is, what do you do?
It sounds like what you're saying is that you need to fire the general manager.
Here's what I would say. I would say that if this plays out in its current form, and this team is a 67 or 68-9, if this team's a under 70 win team somehow, which currently looks like they're on that path, then I think you'd have to have a serious consideration to making a change based on the mistakes that have been made. Do you want to overly punish or under punish? If you want to overly punish, you would remove him from his position based on the decisions he's made. Now, what I don't know, and no one knows, is he might have said to David Rubenstein, I wouldn't mind giving Nick Pivetta $130 million. And Rubenstein might have said, I'd rather you give Morton 15.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that.
Yeah, the reporting that has been done would suggest that's not the case.
Okay, I don't know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now
that's not what Nick Pivetta got.
No, whatever. But I'm just making up numbers. I guess the real answer is, how much of this really is on him, right? How much of this really is on? We know he made the trades. I mean, we know that. We know he made the trades.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that he called David Rubenstein and said, hey, we're going to sign a pitcher this week. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be within our budget. And it became a Charlie Morton, right? So I don't know the answer. But I think if they bottom out, they're going to have to make a call. Now, the question that you asked was, what do you do about the manager?
I think you need to have
It's not this dude.
My opinion genuinely is that you're better off putting a manager in place right now.
That's what I would say. Here's what I know. I don't know much, but I know this. Yeah. It ain't this guy.
Well, obviously it's not this guy.
This coach.
It's so rudderless that it feels like
So who is it?
Everyone's got to go.
So who is it?
Is it
Joe Madden?
Look, the hot name is Skip Shoemaker. Did you ever get to the bottom of that? No. I don't know who else you're looking at. That's your responsibility. Yeah, you.
Yeah, we're going to fire you next.
Yeah, the hot name
we're firing people.
That's the hot name is Skip Shoemaker, right? Like, that's the guy you go get. He's the guy that's available that makes sense. I don't like the idea of you limiting your managerial search.
Do you want the guy from the Cardinals? Do you want Joe Madden? Do you want, is that what you want? Or do you want Buck Britton?
We got Schumacher.
But where are you getting that from? Again, you've passed it off to somebody else.
Wikipedia.
You know what I'm going to say?
You don't trust Wikipedia?
Just looking at him.
Yeah.
No, let me finish. Just looking at this guy, I trust him more than I trust the two of you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just the look of him.
I don't know what. I don't know where you're getting that.
Yeah, I don't know about those shoes, though.
But I love that I asked 24 hours ago, I asked my producer to get to the bottom of how this name is pronounced. And the best thing he's given me so far is the intern says that's how it's pronounced on Wikipedia. Well, then
what's that tell you about him?
I also confirmed that's what Wikipedia says.
That's the best you've got.
But you heard the answer. This is why they're ahead of you.
No.
He said AI.
AI, great, because
that's
definitely the way to go about doing it.
That's where you get all your information.
That's definitely how we do this.
This is where, don't be old.
Yeah, that's what it is I'm old. That's the problem here.
These guys have got one over on you, and you go to AI.
Today's show is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health.
Hey, Siri, tell me who the next manager of the Orioles should be.
We have an issue as men. We reach a certain age, and we just don't quite feel the same, and we don't like talking about it. It's We're sluggish. We're worn down. It's
I'm
more
not.
difficult. No, you're doing great. It's more difficult to take off fat, right? Like all these things. Perhaps performance issues in the bedroom. All of those things.
They finally got you. They finally
No. Stop.
coaxed you
Stop.
into this,
Stop.
huh?
Stop.
Oh my God.
Stop. I'll come to your house and chew gum.
Oh.
All right? I'll come to your house and chew
Oh
gum.
my gosh.
Okay? There's lots of stuff that you struggle with when you reach a certain age as a man.
Mine's vitamin D.
Okay? How do you know it's vitamin D?
Because I've had my blood work done.
Okay, very good.
And I got to take vitamin D.
Deal with those things. It's time to consult with Game Day Men's Health. It's time to get over to Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills. It's time to say, hey, I don't know how to talk about this. Can I talk about it with you and figure out what's going on? Because you might be low T. You might not be. You might have no issues whatsoever. They're going to talk to you about it. They're going to get you some answers about what's going on, and it's extraordinarily normal. It's very real. 443-264-4454 is the phone number. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com to find out more.
And the best thing is when you go over to these places.
We'll play Would You Rather Wednesday when we come.
No.
We'll play Would You Rather Wednesday when we.
I'm trying to help you.
No, you're not. We'll play Would You Rather Wednesday when we come back in. It's Glenn Clark Radio. This August, the PGA Tour's best are coming to Maryland. The 2025 BMW Championship tees off August 12th through 17th at Caves Valley Golf Club in Owings Mills. See the top 50 players battle it out in the penultimate event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Don't miss your chance to witness world-class golf, fan experiences, and unforgettable moments. Tickets are on sale now at BMWChampionship.com. The BMW Championship, where legends take the lead.
Discover luxury without limits at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. This April, unlock a world of high-fashion delights and exclusive style. Earn entries daily starting April 1st and join our drawing on Friday, April 25th. 19 will win up to $2,000 in cash and free play. And one grand prize winner will take home a curated Versace homeware collection. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
What makes the Costas Inn so special? This is Stan the Fan telling you that it's the people that work for you, cooking and serving. But that menu is also special with a capital S. Soups, salads, the raw bar, pasta dishes, seafood specialties, and entrees like the Costas combos, steaks, chops, ribs, amazingly delicious meatloaf, and all manner of delicious spilling sandwiches, including pit beef and turkey and subs. Of course, the steamed crabs are as good as you can get anywhere, and they serve them 12 months a year. The crab cakes are out of this world. Costas is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 4100 North Point Boulevard, and coming soon, very soon, Costas in Timonium at the OTB Parlor at Timonium Racecourse. We'll get you the opening date real soon.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at baltimoregolfacademy.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR. By the way, I because the Orioles are so bad and the basketball game on Sunday was so bad, I actually spent 5 minutes watching the PGA Championship. Do they purposely try to make it seem like it's just the Greater Hartford Open? Like, there is no aura to that event whatsoever.
Let me think that through. You said there's no aura. And what do you mean by
it just looked like watching a golf tournament. Like, there was Like, it didn't feel like it mattered. It didn't feel like it was. And when I turned it on, it wasn't like somebody said that's because it was a blowout. No, there was a one-stroke difference when I turned it on. It just felt like watching any old golf.
I guess
tournament.
I would say the only reason you feel that way is you don't follow golf.
But
like,
I've watched golf tournaments.
No, I know.
Like I've watched
but you're not a golfer.
Detroit
like,
Open. I'm saying the presentation of it came off no different than any other golf tournament.
Okay. I mean, I don't feel that way at all watching it, but I'm also embedded in it. It's different for me. But I sure you turn it on and you don't. But I don't know how that it's different than Masters because CBS overly saturates you with promotion for that. You wouldn't.
But the look of the U.S. Open is different. The look of the British Open is different.
Yeah.
Like those.
This has always been. It's obvious. This has always been the fourth. This has always been the fourth ranked of them all for sure. I don't think it helped that they went to Quail either. I do think that added a little bit of normalcy to it. I will agree with that. I don't think the players. I don't know that they could vote this. And I think the next three that I remember, I don't think they are at sites where they normally play. So you're not going to have to worry about that. In fact, one of them is at a place they've never played before. But I would agree. I would say, that you might be right about that. You might be right that it resembled a regular tournament because there weren't, there weren't different holes. It didn't look different than normal. So yeah, the next ones are. Next year is at Aronimink, which they don't play regularly. It's up in Philly. The next one is at the new golf course that the PGA built for themselves in Dallas. The next one is at the Olympic Club. They don't play there. The next one is Baltusrol. They don't play there. Next one's at Congressional. They don't play there. So they're not going anywhere for a while.
But I would say this. They play the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. And yet,
correct.
When you watch it, it still feels like an event.
Yeah.
It still
the U.S. Open is the most distinctive. I would say the U.S. Open is the most distinctive one of them all, even more so than the Masters, only because of the time of the year and the fact that the golf courses all generally look similar. It's going to be when you watch Oakmont next month, it's going to look like a U.S. Open golf course. High rough, narrow fairways, guys, with guys sweating their, what's off, like middle of the summer, 98 degrees, 91% humidity, thunderstorms in the forecast this afternoon. So yeah, I would say this is the most nondescript of them all. That said, the golf course itself held up really, really well.
I believe you.
11 under won the tournament. Mm-hmm. Like that's, when these guys come here in August and you see the scores they shoot at Caves Valley, it's going to be laughable. Even though they've spent 2 years trying to make it harder, they're going to kill that place. They didn't kill this place the other day. I don't know what the scores are at Quail during the regular events. I have no idea. But I think they're in, when the Wells Fargo's there, I think they're in the 16 to 18 under range.
Okay. All right.
The golf course held up very well.
I gave you more than I thought.
Scheffler won, by the way.
I heard he won. I heard.
It's unreal.
I looked at the list of the other guys. I said, I don't know who half of these people are. I have no idea.
The leaderboard was weird. The leaderboard was very good at one point on Sunday.
Right, because Bryson was there. John Rahm was in the mix. And then everybody else, I was like, who are these people?
Noren's the one guy, he's not played well on Sundays. Alex Noren is a very, very good player. Played on the Ryder Cup team. He's a very, very good player. Thank you for your service.
I'll choose to believe you.
But it was always going to be Scheffler. They're not beating him. This is very Tigerish. They're not beating him.
Well, he still hasn't won 2 of them.
Well, he will.
I understand that, but he still has to do it.
He might in the next 2 months.
All right, there you go.
He might win the next 2.
There you go. And then does it matter to you that Rory didn't speak to the media? It's funny because I didn't see this. But Buster Olney was on with us yesterday and complained about, a lot of people around town have been complaining about the fact that Elias hadn't spoken before yesterday. Buster Olney said something about it on our show, and then apparently a bunch of websites picked it up. which was very weird. Like Awful Announcing picked it up, and other people picked it up.
Here's what I think happened with Rory, and he won't say it for whatever reason. Maybe because he is friendly with them. The fact that Rory's name was the only one leaked is probably why he isn't talking. That would be my guess. Under any normal circumstance, if the tour put something out that said Scheffler, Cantlay, Fleetwood, McIlroy, Hatton all had their drivers deemed non-conforming.
Didn't Scheffler also?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Had the tour said that, had the tour said, hey, here are the guys whose drivers were deemed to be non-conforming during testing on Tuesday, that I think Rory probably would have spoke to it. But somehow his was the only one that got leaked.
Is that a big deal?
In what way?
The driver. I don't know if that's because they didn't play with them.
They
just used a different driver.
A bunch of different ways to answer that. Is it a big deal in terms of the performance of the player? Potentially. I do think it definitely impacted Rory. There is no doubt. It didn't impact Scheffler at all. Although I would say Scheffler hit the ball left.
But what I'm saying is, do the other golfers think that you were purposely cheating?
Oh, now that's another question. Nobody thinks that at all.
Okay, that's what I...
Not at all.
All right.
The issue with the golf club and the thinning
I'm regretting it every time.
I know, but you should want to know this. The thinning of the titanium face that happens over time is not something you can see or feel as a player. There's no chance you know it's happening.
Well, maybe not you. I'm a much higher level player.
I saw that before.
Yeah.
So no, none of those guys. This isn't. There's a long-standing golf trick, right? You put white Vaseline on the face of the club and the ball doesn't spin. That's cheating.
Does that work?
Well, kind of.
Might want to look into that.
No, that's cheating. And if someone discovered, it's just like corking your bat. You know you're playing with a corked bat. Do you know how? You know why? You corked it.
Right. Correct.
It's not like you started hitting balls. You're like, damn, this ball's going 40 more yards than normal. You corked the bat. You can't thin the face of the driver yourself. There's no way to do it. So, no one thinks they were cheating at all.
Okay.
And they weren't. But their equipment was fast. It's just like when you're playing with a hockey stick. Do you know that the curve of the blade might be, it's like a lacrosse pocket, right? Are there going to be guys this weekend playing in the lacrosse final whose pockets are too deep?
You ask the lacrosse player. What do you think? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right? Is it intentional? No. It just happens. Right. So they test it and they look at it. They go, you got a penalty. Your ball's too deep or whatever you would say.
That's exactly what they say.
Sorry.
They say balls too deep. That's exactly what they typically say.
You guys can record that. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
But
isn't that the name of your podcast?
Yeah, right. Balls
too deep.
But that's what you do, right? It's not like you sit there before the thing starts and you go, okay, it's the inflated football thing. Those guys messed around with the inflation of the footballs, but they didn't do it. They didn't say, I got to be underneath of it. They just took some of the air out of it. So it's the same thing in this. Now, the question is, why wouldn't Rory have talked about it? And your question was it right or wrong? I do think it didn't look good for him. I do believe that's not a good look for him. Hey, I wasn't cheating, but they took my driver away, and I had to use another one, and I didn't hit it that good. Scheffler didn't hit his that great on Sunday. He was hitting a lot of pulls. Then he figured it out. So, guys are just not gonna. There's just no way to do that, and cheat in golf.
All right.
It just doesn't work.
All right. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. That was the
the
important
and now
stuff.
you sound smarter for it.
Oh, I'm not going to repeat any of that ever.
But you do sound like you know what you're talking about.
There'll be no chance
if you get asked to go on fried egg or no laying up, you now know.
They're normally the first person they call.
You now know how to sound smart.
We need a guest today. Who do we call? Oh, Glenn Clark. That's the guy. He'll tell us about how he doesn't think there's any aura to the PGA Championship. That's what we'll do.
Got your opinion?
I'm telling you. I turned it on. I'm like, what am I watching? Like, I thought Jeff Maggart was about to win. It was the Shell Houston Open.
He didn't qualify. He didn't win that one either.
Nah, it's weird. I could have sworn he won. We're supposed to have a guest right now, right? All right.
What?
Yeah, Will Leitch is going to join. You remember him? You remember Will? Will's going to join us.
Will the Thrill.
Will, is that what they called him? Will the Thrill?
I have no idea.
Are you sticking around, or are you?
I don't know. I don't know. Go meet with John about something.
Oh yeah. It's not you're meeting with Alex. I don't know how to explain this to you. Alex is our consultant. Alex
his name was Joe.
Well, I know. I was having some fun then.
It's Alex.
Alex is our consultant.
Where'd you go to school?
He goes to Stevenson.
Where'd you go to high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't know anything about that place.
Yeah, right. What are you going to say about that? Huh? Yeah. A lot of government contractors.
Is Cantabene still the coach of Stevenson?
Yes.
Is he?
Yes, very much
He's
so.
a good man.
I agree.
Oh, you play on the team?
Else?
You play on the Stevenson team? I mean, they must be bottom of the barrel over there.
Oh, God.
Were you guys any good?
Poor guy. Yeah, they did make the tournament.
Lynchburg. Bunch of Bible thumpers down there.
There you go. That's what you
right
anything else?
You want to beat up?
We
beat this guy, Will Leitch.
No, we're not going to beat up Will. We're not going to do that.
I used to go to his website every single day.
I know you did. That was your only show prep.
It's a top 5.
It's the only show prep Drew would ever do.
Go to Deadspin.
Dude, did you see what he was the fact that the guy after Will and like the people that mattered had left Deadspin, he was still going there.
I hung
when
on.
the rest of us were like, yeah,
Deadspin's dead.
It's over.
I was there every day.
Drew was still going, and we had to be the one to tell him like, old man, it's time to move on.
Deadspin was so good.
He actually recently wrote about the Orioles too. I don't know if he's going to still stand by his
Speaking of dead.
Yeah, well, his belief at the time was that they could still turn things around.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess.
Yeah, you called that one, Will.
Probably changed it. But he is here with us as well. I am halfway through this book, and it's phenomenal.
I know it's getting great reviews.
It's phenomenal. Lloyd McNeil's Last Ride is a new novel from Will Leitch, who is with us here this morning on GCR. Will, it's Glenn and Drew in Baltimore. It's always great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And for the record, that was only 3 days ago that I wrote that Orioles piece. And sure, those 3 days have not been great.
No.
I don't think it was going to deny that. But there's still time. There's still time. It's not even Memorial Day.
You sure? You sure about that?
It's not even Memorial Day. That's what Brandon Hyde said when he got the call last Saturday.
You sure about that?
He said, "Hey, it's not even Memorial Day
yet." We're gonna get back to the Orioles and what you wrote, but this is a straight. When I heard what the premise was for the book, I said, "Oh, that works, right? Like that's a good idea." I was in fact just talking to the guys about how when I heard that you had already optioned it for a movie, I was like, "This smells like all of the fun." Action movies that I've liked recently, like Nobody and like Novocaine, right? Like that's what it smells like. Then I started reading the book, and I said, and I got to tell you, I'm not even up to the fun stuff yet, right? Like I'm not even there. I'm still sort of in all of the background. I'm in chapter 23, and it's so much more heartwarming. I don't even know if heartwarming is the right word. Maybe heart-wrenching. The father and son stuff, the dealing with your own mortality, like that stuff to me is incredibly compelling. Where did all of this come from? Where did the idea come from? Like, how did this come about, Lloyd McNeil's Last Ride?
Yeah, so thank you. That's very nice. And it's funny. Of course, the premise of the idea of a police officer that has to get killed and that learns he's dying of a brain tumor and learns that he has to get killed to get his police pension and tries to get killed and fails. I think there's kind of it's irresistible premise as like a father. Like I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I think all the time, sometimes the world can seem a little crazy out there, and I worry about the kind of world that we're leaving for them, and then whether you can kind of protect them. So the idea of a father who had to deal with that in a very immediate, urgent time. One of the things in the book, he writes notes for his son to find after he's gone. But I will say, one of the goals of the book, once I kind of came up with the idea, I was like, I do not want this to be a dirge. I want people to enjoy this book. I want it to be fun. So I did my absolute best to make it the funniest, most uplifting book about a guy dying of a brain tumor as humanly possible.
What a premise.
So that's why I tried to do it and make it exciting too.
What a premise. How much of it is of that the stuff that I've read so far? Is any of that your own experiences, father-son stuff that like is coming out in all of that?
Well, I mean, I haven't been to the doctor recently, so I hope not too much.
I'm not suggesting you have a brain tumor.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I did just recently write the Orioles or could be turning it around.
Yeah,
so
that's a fair point.
I do, in fact, have some sort of brain tumor right now. But yes, I think that any parent, there's a fatherhood part of it, but any parent really, you find yourself worrying about the world you're going to leave for the kids and all the stuff that they're going to have to fix. And so, I think certainly. I know this. I actually had to, like most parents, my kid wants nothing to do with me right now because he's 13. So I had to try to bribe him to read the book. And so apparently he read it and he chuckled for a moment, and he said, "Ugh, I can't believe I laughed at something my dad wrote." I'm like, come on, look around this house, pal. That food on your plate because people are reading stuff that I wrote that was funny.
Yeah.
So I think we all kind of know that feeling with teenagers.
Wait, does your dad know, or sorry, not your dad, your son? Does your son know the history at 13 of Dead? Like, does he know why you're so wildly popular? Is he aware of any of that stuff, or are you just still the loser dad at this point?
I think occasionally his friends will go and vandalize my Wikipedia page. I think that's kind of a fun thing for them to do every once in a while. But I think certainly, you guys know as well as anyone how much the media landscape has really changed, even since the Deadspin days, right? Like the idea, I'm not sure my son would know what the word blog means. Right. So, I think that he would certainly know what TikTok and Reels are. And, I think that certainly he knows. I think the kids understand that it's hard to explain to a lot of people that weren't there kind of what Deadspin kind of was at that specific moment. And I think still Deadspin's DNA you can see in a lot of places. And I think you see it in Defector, which is the site that kind of was the spinoff from Deadspin that's still going. I think you can still see that in the culture a lot. But certainly, we've all changed, and it's all a different kind of thing. I think mostly no matter what I do, I'm just an embarrassment. Like I'm a dad. I'm a dad to a teenager. Whatever I am or whatever I once did is completely lame.
That is a fact. Lloyd McNeil's Last Ride. We've linked it up on our Twitter account at Glenn Clark Radio to find it on Amazon. I'm telling you, it's a wonderful, wonderful read. There is a lot of sports centric to this, right? Like all of the Atlanta United stuff. Even your description when he's looking over at the what is that, Spaghetti Junction, and you point out you could take this to Truist Park. Is that just because, hey, this is what I think the characters would care about? Is that any part of you that's like, yeah, sports have been such a central part of my life that I'm probably going to write sports within these characters?
Certainly, when I first started writing, this is my third novel. When I first started writing novels, I was very steadfast. Excuse me, that's my other life. My sports writing, this is my serious literary life. And thankfully, I'm past that now. So it's because I love sports, and writing about sports is, it's for me, you have to write about characters that you know and you understand. And I know and I understand sports. Like this is my to combine those things to deprive something that I know and understand. I'm a season ticket holder to the Atlanta United team, and so something that I actually think that team is not good right now, but I think that's kind of what's going on in the MLS is kind of interesting and kind of a fun thing to kind of see. So I couldn't take the sports out of me even if I wanted to, and I don't. So it's fun to be able to write that.
I can completely appreciate that. I reference it's already headed toward. When you wrote the book, did you think to yourself this would make a good movie? Like, was that a thought at any point, or not even worth having that conversation?
For me, that stuff like that is so random, and you never know how anything. I think if I tried to generate something I would try to make a movie someday. There's so many bank shots that have to happen along the way. But certainly, I watch a lot of movies. I actually host a movie podcast. I go to a lot of movies. This is why I haven't watched Andor or any of the TV shows, because I'm always going to all these movies. I'm like, sorry, got to go see the Minecraft movie. No time for Andor. So I go see a lot of movies, and so I probably think cinematically. And certainly, I wanted you see from where you are in the book. You haven't even gotten really to the action scenes yet,
right?
And so really, it's fun to. I certainly think my brain probably works cinematically because I see so many movies, and also I want the book to be entertaining. I interviewed Chuck Palahniuk one time, who wrote Fight Club, and he said every time I'm writing a book, I realize I'm competing with people's phones. I'm competing with their screens. I'm competing with them doing literally anything else in the world. So it's my job to hold their attention and keep them as excited as possible. And so I kind of try to keep that in mind for a book like this that does have action sequences, and I think that is one of the things that appealed to the movie people. Lionsgate bought the rights to the movie. I'm an executive producer on the project, and I promise you, when I find out what an executive producer does, I'm going to do it. Whatever that thing is.
Does an executive producer do anything, or is it just sort of like a figurehead thing? Like, hey, you wrote the book.
Find out.
Okay.
I will find out. I do think part of it is it's funny. It reminds me a little bit actually of Deadspin back in the day when I left Deadspin. I left at a time where the site was still very popular, and I think people kind of have good regards with me because of it. But I left after that. Every time Deadspin did something really good, everyone would say, "Oh my gosh, Will, you must be so proud of that site." And whenever that's been something that angered people, they would say, "Oh, that would have never happened."
Yes,
if Will were in
correct.
charge."
Yeah, right. You had that going for you. Yep, you were never going to be that guy.
And the movies are kind of like that too. Like if the movie turns out great, Will, you did a great job with the movie. And if the movie turns out bad, oh well, it's not as good as the book.
Right.
So that's always the strike zone you're trying to find in the media world.
Covered.
Hey, I'm going to give you a piece of. You're an MLS fan. Here's a great piece of bar betting material for you. What was the expansion fee in 1995 for the 10 original teams?
Oh my goodness! I mean, like, it was the expansion fee, or did it go the other direction? Did they just pay them?
Yeah, right. No, there was an expansion fee paid. It was $5 million. What do you think it is? What do you think it is today?
Oh, considerably more. Considerably more.
$500 million.
That's unbelievable.
To get in the league.
That's a good start. Yeah. And I actually think the MLS is like, I find the MLS is not the Premier League. It's not of that quality. But I think for what it is, I think it's actually become pretty fun. I think the Apple thing has actually helped because I think it's maybe shut off some new fans, but allowed dedicated fans to really be into it. And obviously, Messi being here is obviously a big deal.
Yeah, I heard he was playing.
He's hard to see. He's small, so it's hard to see him sometimes.
I heard he's making some money.
All right, let's get to the bottom of this. Would you like to retract? And it was 8 days ago, so we're giving you the benefit. Would you like to retract what you wrote about the Orioles, or is there still some part of you that's like, they can't be this bad?
Well, they can't be this bad.
Right.
Now, the question is whether they have dug too deep of a hole for themselves. But they can't. Like they're not this bad. It feels. I mean, for crying out loud, you saw that last game before Hyde got fired, where everything just imploded at once. Like so, there was a certain aspect of there are obviously things that need to get fixed. The pitching is obviously a big problem, but like there's also parts of their games you watch them and they just look snake bit. They just look like every little thing that could possibly go wrong at the worst possible time keeps happening. Like that is I don't believe that the Orioles are specifically and uniquely cursed by some sort of malevolent god. It certainly can feel that way watching them sometimes this year, but I don't think it does feel like that has to even out a little bit. The problem is it's getting late, right? Like I was joking, it's already Memorial Day, but if they were like 5 games under, I'd be like, okay, there's plenty of time. This has been like things were really bad before this current loss streak, and I think that's the concern. And I think when you add that into the quite understandable fan frustration of the lack of kind of aggression this offseason, the one thing that you counted on from this team were those young players kind of moving forward. You're still seeing some of it, but not at the level of it, and it makes that kind of inertia and lack of aggression that you saw this offseason really frustrating. And I think it hasn't helped. You know, I think we saw that Mike Elias didn't comment on Hyde's firing for like 3 days, even though the players still had to all comment on it. There's a lot of this is an organization that not very long ago looked like it had everything. The front office looked like the state of the art, and they knew what they were doing, and they were on top of this stuff. And the last year has kind of shown a collapse of that. That feels like something you have to get fixed first. And the question is whether they realize how big of a problem that kind of is for them right now. And I'm not quite sure that they do.
So let me ask that. Will, like a lot of people around town are asking if they fired the right guy, right? That I think a lot of us would have all said, hey, Mike Elias seems to know what he's doing. But when you describe the offseason, it's one of the most perplexing things we've ever seen. That an organization that had all these pieces coming together and everyone on the planet said, well, now's the time. You've got it, and you got new ownership. They've got money. This is the moment to go strike. And then he just sort of said, nah, I'm good. What do you make of it? Is this a Mike Elias problem that like is a hubris issue where he just thinks he's so much smarter than everybody else and that is simply not going to work to try to win a World Series?
I mean, on one hand, I think Elias has a lot of stuff to answer for. I also think there is. I mean, listen, for crying out loud, I know the big joke has been about the bobblehead for the owner and Rubenstein and so on. But for the record, let's not forget how kind of beloved he was when he bought that team after years of the Angelos. I think everybody thought they had their Cohen, right? They thought they had their Mets Cohen. He was going to be the go out and do it. Now all of a sudden you're hearing him saying, I don't know, salaries are getting out of hand in baseball. Maybe we need to get some sort of salary cap. Like that to me is actually just as big of a problem as Elias not doing things, maybe even a bigger one. The idea that there was an owner in Baltimore that looked like the problems of the past that have caused so many problems with the Orioles were behind them. And then almost immediately when he got in the moment where you're like, okay, great, now's the time to spin. Now's the time to go do something. Started talking about salary cap and the haves and the have-nots and the Dodgers and the Mets. That to me was pretty worrisome too. The idea that like Elias, like, listen, I think Elias is could do a better job of messaging and certainly should have been more aggressive in the offseason. But a lot of this stuff can come from ownership too. And I think that like that I think everybody thought when Ruben did take over that was going to be like there could be a savior, like it'd be like Cohen in the Met with the Mets, and we just haven't seen that. And I think all of that, I think you have to remember, and you guys of course know as well as anyone, how frustrating the Orioles ownership was before this new ownership group. There's so much kind of calcified frustration there. It feels like the smart play for a new ownership group and his new front office to be like, we are not going to be those people. Mm-hmm. The fact that they are giving shades of those people, I think, is maybe one of the more worrisome parts about it.
All right, last one for you, because I know you got a million of these to do. Do you think that you need to hire the manager in season? Like, this looks so rudderless.
He's
right
hiring
now.
the manager?
No, yes, Will. Yes, correct. We'll have him do it. Like, this looks so rudderless at the moment that my opinion is, like, you have to get an adult in the room quickly. Like, somebody has to, before this gets worse for Adley Rutschman.
Well, had an adult room, Kyle Gibson.
Thank you. That was who's going to solve it. But then, you limit yourself. Then your candidates are only the guys that are available at the moment. And, I know you're a Cardinals guy. Skip Schumacher's name has come up a ton in this conversation. Do you need to do this now, or do you wait till the end of the season and then figure everything else?
I'll be honest, I think Skip Schumacher's going to he's going to get another job, and I think Baltimore makes a certain amount of sense. I'm not sure if I'm Skip Schumacher, this is a situation I feel like I want to come in midstream. And I think any sort of manager that you would want, because I understand what you're saying. You do kind of need someone to just get control of this situation that's a little bit more experienced. But what assurances does the Skip Schumacher have to be like he's not going to get drowned in this muck and trust me, it'll be better next year? I think that I almost feel like you'd be hiring a second interim, and so at a certain level, either this is going to get turned around or not get turned around. But I think asking someone to come in midstream, cold from outside the organization, who could theoretically be a really good manager for you in the future, I think is asking a lot.
Oh, man. Oh, great. We can't.
Sorry.
Thanks a lot. Lloyd McNeil's Last Ride. It's available right now. It's outstanding. And I haven't even gotten to the fun stuff yet. And I'm telling you, it's outstanding. Go pick it up today at William F. Leitch is how you follow him. We'll always appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me. Have a good Memorial Day weekend.
Absolutely. You too. Will Leitch with us here on GCR.
You could tell he definitely likes me.
Yeah?
You can just tell by the way our interactions.
Yeah? Is that what the sense that
I'm not
you
so
get?
sure about.
You don't know if he's a fan of
you,
coming on with us. This is a straight shoot, by the way. It's a great book. It's a great book. You'll know whenever we bring on somebody to plug a book, if you don't hear me talk about it afterwards, you know how I really feel about it.
I'm writing a book.
And I are you? Mm-hmm. What are you writing about?
Some stuff. I'll share it with you.
Look forward to
share it with you.
Yeah.
I'm starting to do rap music.
Oh?
Can I come back and do it next?
I don't think you have to worry about that. I don't think you're going to.
I watched that the other night. Yeah. I watched the whole thing. My wife came walking in the living room and she goes, "Is this new?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, it's not new."
You know what I
goes,
do?
"How many times have you watched this in your life?"
At least once a month, I lose an hour watching all of Norm's appearances.
Oh, from Cheers?
No, not R.I.P.
You mean every single one ever?
Norm Macdonald on Letterman.
Gotcha.
I will spend an hour just watching.
I would say 5 or 6 times a year I watch the Joaquin Phoenix David Letterman thing.
So funny. Anyway, go get this book. It's very good. Let's play Would You Rather
Wednesday. I watched the
Wednesday.
Beastie Boys when they did when they came in, walked through the streets, and Letterman.
Yep.
I watch that all the time.
The Chris Farley entrance where he does and then he punches the guy and throws him in the all of it.
Unbelievable.
All right, Would You Rather Wednesday. Somebody's winning a $30 gift card to Glory Days Grill just for participating. Get in on Twitter, on Blue Sky, at Glenn Clark Radio, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio with your responses. Somebody will win that gift card. Number 1, would you rather? Very similar to some of the conversations that we've been having so far
Have you ever
this
seen a
morning.
hippopotamus in person?
Like at a zoo?
They're way, way, way bigger than you think they are. They're huge.
What are we doing?
I'm just asking. It was just something that came to my mind.
Can I? And I hope you won't be.
Thank you for your service.
Can I just ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you?
I'm still.
Say-
My blood alcohol level from Saturday is still questionably
Popping bottles.
Still questionably.
Drew had a day. He had a day.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
And
would
one
you
of my
rather?
players made a hole-in-one on Monday at the
Oh,
Calvin
yeah?
Hall alumni event.
That's cool.
He won the championship Saturday.
That's
he made
a
a
pretty
hole-in-one on
decent-
Monday. It was. I was.
I had to
like,
say the young
you
man
should go-
like.
you should go play the lottery.
Well, I don't know how you have the tough conversation of like this might be the peak.
Yeah,
like this might be.
You played for me.
Yeah, right.
You won the championship. And you made a hole-in-one.
This might be as good as it's ever going to be.
Right.
Soak it in. Would you rather the Orioles hire Buck Showalter tomorrow?
What?
And Mike Elias remains general manager for the foreseeable future, or the Orioles part ways with Mike Elias after the season
And hire Buck Showalter.
and hire someone more inexperienced like Ryan Flaherty to be the manager.
Gotcha. Well, you know what I'm going to tell you. I'll buckle up with Buck.
But you were talking earlier that you thought Mike Elias might be the problem.
What I said was, if they finish the season like this, where this
Rudderless.
just continues to, if they finish 64 and whatever that is, 98, whatever that would be, I think you would have to really strongly consider making a change, based on the decisions that he made. How do you?
But you think
was
if
it
you
bad
can,
luck?
you think if you can bring Buck back, then you won't.
I always liked Buck, and I never really quite got that whole thing. I do know, of course, Buck is like me. He's an old man who doesn't care about the analytics. I always liked Buck.
That's not fully true either.
It's close to true.
It's not as true as you think it is. Buck also, unfortunately, has accepted that he only
It is
has
what
so
it
much
is.
power.
Right,
And, like,
sure.
He kind of
can fix
chuckles
the
about
pain.
it.
You know, there's a lot of stories about Hyde also at that I think will come out over the course of the summer. There are a lot of stories about Hyde over the last 2 or 3 years getting involved in certain areas of the organization that weren't necessarily tied directly into.
Sounds an awful lot like Buck.
Correct.
Sounds
and
an
I think you're going to
awful
hear
lot
those
like-
stories come out.
Sounds an awful lot like Buck.
I'm pretty sure you're going to hear that.
Would you rather for the Week 2 game
Would
in
you rather
Baltimore?
John Proctor move to Indonesia or
out of nowhere,
or Russia?
Out of nowhere. Proctor
Indonesia.
hasn't taken a shot at you yet this morning.
I got a head start on him this
That's
morning.
good. That's
I actually
actually
like John.
Yeah,
I really do. I like diphtheria also.
that is a new one. That's a new one.
I've been working on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Right.
For you.
We actually, you know what we do? We take Proctor everywhere we go. We take him twice.
Yeah.
The second time to apologize.
This is good.
Oh, God.
This is good.
I just got new. It's summertime.
I like
You know how
it.
the Dave Matthews Band goes out when
every
they play new
right.
stuff?
Yeah, they see if it works. Yeah, right.
It's coming off our new album. We don't even have an album out yet.
This is good.
But we don't have anything else to play.
Are you going to that, by the way? That's like next Saturday.
Where?
Merriweather.
I didn't know that. Is it?
Did you not know that?
They put out a new album?
I don't think so.
Nah, they're just doing the Jimmy Buffett thing.
I mean, to be
where
fair,
they just play the same 8 songs.
The last couple are meh. Meh.
Yeah, I don't even know if I know what the last one was. The last decent one was. Oh boy,
I don't think they've had a good album since Big Whiskey, like a particularly good.
no, Grugruck's King.
Yeah, that one was an outstanding
Okay,
record.
that was a very good album.
I don't know that they've had a
what was the one that
particularly good album
had
since
Idea
then.
of You on it? That was the.
I don't remember.
But I might agree with you. Grugruck's King was a great album.
It was outstanding.
Yeah.
It was.
Let's see.
Oh, Come Tomorrow.
Yeah. That
It
album was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
But it was okay.
I think it was at best okay. Yeah.
I just said that.
I know, but I think it was on the
Proctor?
south side of okay.
Okay, so
Like,
it was the south side of okay.
Yeah, it was.
So it was a C plus instead of a C.
Yeah,
I mean a C minus
instead of
C.
C plus. Yeah, that's sort of where I am with that. And the last one was fine. It was fine.
The last one.
That walk around the moon.
Oh, that was terrible.
It was.
Be honest.
Madman's
like me
Eyes.
saying the same thing about Springsteen.
I actually,
High Hopes was terrible.
I'm telling you, I think it was better than the one before that.
You do?
Like, I do. I did not. I didn't think that one was good at all. But
okay, I thought Come Tomorrow was okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
Samurai Cop. Is that the one that had Samurai Cop on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2. Would you rather? Week 2, Browns come to Baltimore. Their starting quarterback is Joe Flacco or it's Shedeur Sanders.
Oh. 1 million per. You do not want Flacco coming back in here and beating us 30-20 and giving us a finger like Tim Couch did. Bring that Sanders kid in. He stinks.
I understand what you're saying.
Remember, he didn't get picked.
I know. I'm aware of that. The only concern that somebody would have would be, how did he win the starting quarterback job? Is it because he's actually good, right? Like, that's the...
You don't want Flacco back in here, Joey. You don't want Joey Flacco back in here throwing them bombs on us.
I want him here so we can cheer for him.
Yeah, you would do that. Trade him.
He plays for the Browns.
Yeah,
not
you
sure
don't
if
want
we're
that.
familiar. Not
that
sure if
Joey
we're familiar.
Flacco.
He's the
he
greatest
won us
quarterback
the
in
Super
franchise
Bowl.
history.
And we got to do this because we got to talk to Quint Kessenich.
And that Anquan Bladen guy.
Yeah, Bladen.
I want to hear him do more
good.
Baltimore accent.
Good news. No, you don't. Good news.
I kind of like it.
You don't have to go to work next week. Bad news. Okay. It's because you have to do one of the following 2 things.
Okay, I'll do them both.
Either A,
all right,
you have to rewatch every Orioles game this season from start to finish. Now they're going to take all the commercials out. You don't have to watch any commercials. It's just
there's
baseball.
only 4. Southwest Airlines. I mean,
I understand,
Sarasota.
but they still air them repetitive.
They haven't sold a new commercial in 7 years. I mean, that's why the team stinks.
B, you have to study for and then hold one 3-hour town hall at your grandparents' home church to explain the One Taste scandal. Are you familiar with the One Taste scandal?
No.
This is from the Daily Mail.
Okay.
Executives at an orgasmic meditation startup forced their staff to have sex with each other in an attempt to relieve the tension between them, a federal trial heard. One Taste founder Nicole Dedone and former head of sales Rachel Churwitz have each been charged with 1 count of forced labor conspiracy. Witnesses who took the stand at court in New York City this week have detailed their disturbing experiences working for the cult-like San Francisco-based company. One former worker, referred to only as Max to protect their identity, told the court that Churwitz sent 2 staff members off to have sex during a sales meeting. Courthouse News reports Churwitz attributed a profit dip at the firm's NYC branch to an alleged sexual tension between the 2 employees, Max testified. It goes on from there. I'm going to cut it off for now.
I'm trying to figure out where the problem is.
Well, I don't think you can. I don't think you can do that, Drew. I don't think you're allowed to just.
We're trying to sell stuff here. We got
to stand, but
we got a startup.
I don't
that
think
we're running.
you can say you need to go have coitus.
I mean,
I don't
look,
think it works.
we
got to
sell stuff.
I understand that, but the point is,
I can't even believe you've broached this.
Whatever your opinion is about the subject, you have to go to your grandparents' church, the old, the Hickory Church, and meet with all the parishioners, and you have to explain this to them for 3 hours. Yeah.
Or I get to go work for that company?
No, that's not an option.
Oh.
It's either you do that or you watch all the Orioles games from start to finish over the course of next week. Now, you can do that at home.
But when I go to New York to the corporate office, do I?
No, again, you're not joining the company. I know it's set. Can you see if Quint can go? I would like to take a break if possible. Thank you.
All right. Well, I don't know anything. I don't know what this is. I don't know what my answer is because you threw me off with the whole
I understand.
story.
You keep thinking that you're
But I'll go with whatever answer involves me getting to hang out with those people in New York.
I understand. That will not be an answer that gets. You're not going to work for One Taste.
Right.
You're either going to watch the Orioles games,
I'm out then.
or you're going to go to your grandparents' church and you're going to explain to those parishioners what's happening with One Taste. Those are your options.
Well, I'm probably going to the church just for church purposes.
No, but again, you're not going there for church purposes.
There's no communion.
You're not going there. You're holding a town hall meeting. The parishioners want to know what's going. You're the one that's going to meet them, and you're going to explain in detail.
I mean, you're trying to get me to watch the Oriole games. I'm not.
Right.
I'm just not.
You're going.
I'll lay out here on the sidewalk in the rain before I'll do that.
The old folks about the orgasmic meditation cult. That's what you're going to go spend.
And now you know what I'm going to explain to them?
Yeah.
That this This is what we do in 2025 to get people's spirits perked up.
Now wait a second, right?
This is what we do.
might be worth considering.
In the old days, we used to give bonuses out.
Right.
Not anymore.
Now it's orgasmic meditation.
We used to give you every other Friday off. Not anymore.
Right. Right. But you could go. We're going to visit.
You don't know what they are on the
send you on a retreat.
Stock exchange. You don't know what their abbreviation is, do you?
Are you sticking around or you got to
go? I got to go.
All right. It's a Hooded Forum.
Give me the 1 minute real quick lacrosse thing. Maryland plays Georgetown.
No, they played Georgetown. They won.
Oh, that was last week.
They play Syracuse.
They play
now.
Syracuse,
Yes.
okay. And then Penn State plays Cornell.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who do you like?
I'll tell you what I think.
Maryland-Syracuse is a big game, obviously.
Yeah. Well.
It's been a little while since they won a national championship.
Okay. Well, not really, but okay. And Gate clearly knows what he's doing.
There you go.
Right?
Which Gate is the head coach of Syracuse?
But
which Gate?
Gary Gate. But
Scott can't get anything past him.
Hold on. But Maryland has really, over the last, whatever,
take a break.
7 or 8 years, has
deep with
become the balls deep, right?
Balls too deep.
Right. Balls deep in the pocket.
You better have that ready for next week.
Yeah, right. Balls deep. Lacrosse is over. Balls too deep.
You could recap the Final Four.
Oh, yeah. Balls too deep in the pocket.
You're not going to be watching the Whip Snakes?
Oh, right. I really like Syracuse 17-10.
There you go.
And
there's my guy.
And I'll take because Maryland isn't going to score enough goals.
Yeah.
And I'll take Cornell.
So Syracuse,
I'll take Cornell 13-11, and in the final I'm going Big Red.
Go Big Red.
I'm
there you
going
go.
Big Red.
There
Thelma
you go.
and Louise. I'm going
been a long time
14,
since Cornell
12
won.
Cornell.
All right, there you go. You heard it right here. The host of Balls Too Deep says Cornell over Syracuse in the championship
That's what
game.
I think.
That's what you think.
You know what?
We got to take a break.
It's called ABM.
What does that mean?
Anyone but Maryland.
There you go. That's our guy, Drew Forrest, the P1 Maryland basketball fan. He couldn't be a bigger Maryland basketball fan, but he hates.
All right, God
it's
bless
like
you guys.
it's like Zales, who worships at the altar of Maryland women's basketball, but hates Maryland football. Like despises Maryland.
No one likes
football.
Maryland football.
No. That's if it was neutral, it would make sense.
He goes
it's
out of his
not
way.
that.
Oh, he actually dislikes.
Actively hates Maryland football.
They're going to
It's
be good with
bizarre.
this kid from Spalding.
Well, the kid from Spalding's
Trust
good. I don't
me.
know if they're going to be good, but he's good.
He is
for
very
sure.
good.
There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
All right,
God
thank
bless you guys.
There you go. There's Drew. Are you doing the show this weekend?
I just did it.
No, the golf show.
Oh.
Yeah, he's going to copy this
Memorial Day
audio.
It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm aware.
Well, I'm playing golf Sunday.
Okay. So are you doing the show?
Well, I don't have no, but I got to let them know.
You probably should let them know.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
All right. But it's Memorial Day weekend.
I'm aware. I'm going to guess you were on the schedule.
And it's the week after the
I don't
PGA.
look anymore.
And it's the week after the PGA.
Probably would have a thing or two to talk about.
Well, no, I need a break.
Oh, you need a break. Got it. There you go. Get out of here. Maybe tune in some other time to Fairways and Greens over on the Fan. All right, come back in and talk to Quint Kessenich next. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
What makes the Costas Inn so special? This is Stan the Fan telling you that it's the people that work for you, cooking and serving. But that menu is also special with a capital S. Soups, salads, the raw bar, pasta dishes, seafood specialties, and entrees like the Costas combos, steaks, chops, ribs, amazingly delicious meatloaf, and all manner of delicious filling sandwiches, including pit beef and turkey and subs. Of course, the steamed crabs are as good as you can get anywhere, and they serve them 12 months a year. The crab cakes are out of this world. Costas is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 4100 North Point Boulevard, and coming soon, very soon, Costas in Timonium at the OTB Parlor at Timonium Racecourse. We'll get you the opening date real soon.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now, and on the cover, Luke Jackson looks at the long road back from Tommy John surgery for Orioles closer Felix Bautista, as well as Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells. Also inside, we learn more about new Maryland basketball coach Buzz Williams from the players who have played for him at other stops. Plus, evaluators around baseball chime in on Orioles' top prospect Samuel Basayo. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
Back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Wednesday edition of the program. Look, championship weekend is upon us up in Foxborough this weekend. Penn State, Cornell, Maryland, Syracuse. Let's break it all down. This man, longtime friend and outstanding analyst on ESPN. You know him from his Hopkins career as well. He is, of course, the great Quint Kessenich, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Q, it's Glenn. It's always good to catch up, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Thank you, Glenn.
Everything...
It's a pretty dismal day today, so good day to be inside watching film and getting prepped for this game.
Terrible day. Just miserable. And the Orioles stink, so life is so good for us. Quint, I came into this tournament, like, all we were talking about is how, like, wide open it was. So it was very unlike the last couple of years when Notre Dame was dominant and then Maryland, the undefeated team. This completely wide open field. I feel, and you tell me if I'm wrong, that going into Memorial Day weekend, it's still that wide open, that while I do think Cornell's deserving of being the number, but we've seen them lose to Penn State. They could absolutely lose to Penn State. It feels like all four teams have a genuine and pretty close percentage-wise chance of winning the title on Monday.
They do, and I think Vegas is showing you that Cornell's, the favorite, Maryland's second choice, Syracuse third, and Penn State fourth. But if Penn State were to beat Cornell, given Maryland's dreadful track record on Memorial Day, let's say Maryland won that other semi, and anything's in play here. I think the championship game coming on one day's rest is very unpredictable. So that aside, these are pretty even match games. I think Maryland's favored by a goal and a half, and Cornell's favored by 2.5 over Penn State. But as we said, but going into this tournament, I thought there were 8 or 9 teams who could win the national championship. I mean, Army was one of them, and they didn't even make the field. Richmond proved that they had the medal to get it done. And Notre Dame at times just looked like a championship team. Princeton, they can score with anybody. So, here we are. We got 4 left, and I'm excited to go up to Boston.
Let me start. We'll go backwards, right, because everybody around here most cares about Maryland. Let's start with that one. It feels to me, and I'm not Quint Kessenich, but it feels to me like it's a story of Syracuse wants to play one way, Maryland wants to play one way. Who can get the other team to play their way, or who's more likely to be able to adapt if the game doesn't play the way that they want it to be played?
That's correct. Maryland is so structured and so disciplined and so patient. They're willing to go deep into the shot clock. They don't take bad shots. They don't give up transition. They typically win the face-off and goaltending matchups, and they beat you by being methodical. They beat you by, the ball is never on the ground when you play Maryland. They just don't make mistakes. Their passing is crisp. They're great on restarts. And any possession changes, and John Tillman, their head coach, just wants to kind of grind you. If you trade possessions with Maryland and they're equal, and Maryland's able to cut down on your transition opportunities, Maryland's going to be more efficient, and they'll probably win the game. So it's imperative for Syracuse to find goals outside the 6-on-6, whether that's riding, whether it's off of face-offs. Whether it's on the extra man, they've got to do something in this game, I think, to take Maryland out of their game. Because if you watch the Georgetown game last week, Georgetown's built identically to Maryland, and Georgetown tried to beat Maryland by playing like Maryland, and that was never going to happen. It was a 1-goal game in the fourth quarter, but it felt like Georgetown was climbing up a hill, And Maryland, again, so methodical. They have this iron will, and they stick to their game plan.
It's exactly how I felt watching it. It was 7-6, and I'm like, I don't really think Maryland's in trouble. I just didn't,
exactly.
right? Like
it's again, it's like a defensive football team. Like Maryland to me is 2 tight ends and 2 running backs, and they run on first and second down. They chew the clock, and if they get to 21 points, they're going to beat you. They're willing to punt 8 times and play the field position game, and they're not going to give up explosive plays. They're not going to make mistakes in the special teams. To me, that's what this Maryland lacrosse team is.
We've made so much this season of the fact that Maryland doesn't have an offensive alpha the way that other John Tillman teams have had that player. We have, however, seen at times, whether it's Urksa or Daniel Kelly, guys, just the matchup is right for them that day, and they do kind of take over. Given what is required to win 2 games against this caliber of team, can they do this without someone being the offensive alpha this weekend in Foxborough?
Great question. X factor there, exactly. Maryland's a defensive-based team. Their best players are their defenders, Will Schaller, their goalie, Logan McNaney, their pole, Jack McDonald. I like A.J. Larkin. Their short sticks are average for the level. But offensively, again, they share the workload. They take what's there. They pass up a lot of maybe shots and only take exceptional shots. So their shot selection is brilliant. They're so patient. Daniel Kelly strikes at a high rate. He's kind of gotten hot lately. Eric Spanos, the redshirt junior, looks like he's very much in control right now. Very comfortable. Had 6 against Air Force. I like the way he played last week against Georgetown. And the midfielders, when they push to the net, they generally seem like guys like Bryce Ford and Matthew Keegan are pushing to move the ball. They're not going for themselves. But I say that at times, and they can get to the rack. Ford, Keegan, and Elijah Stovall in the second midfield, big number 44, is a real danger to get to the rack. So Maryland only has 70 unassisted goals in 16 games. They prefer to pass. And so if I'm Syracuse, I'm kind of saying, well, maybe I'm going to be slow to double team and force you guys to score off the dribble.
Yeah, make you go win.
Make you score off the dribble. The Terps, a lot of times their dodges to the goal are kind of, they look like they're fake. They're trying to draw double teams and then capitalize on the backside. And so if I'm Syracuse, I'm slow. I'm saying, why don't you guys try to score 10 unassisted goals today? Rather than when you start rotating defensively, this offense can pick you apart.
Quint Kessenich is with us here on GCR. On the flip side of that second semifinal on Saturday, Quint, like every year it's is Syracuse back? Can they be back? Is there still something to be said for, that was, what they did on Saturday, obviously very high pressure against an extremely good team. But is there still something to be said for need to see this group do it on the big stage in the NFL stadium on Memorial Day weekend, and that could still be a factor of how they handle the moment on Saturday?
Absolutely. This is a new experience for all of them. And you felt in watching that game afterwards, again, give them a ton of credit for just continuing to score. And they can score. But was that their Super Bowl? Did they check the box and get back to championship weekend? Because Maryland's goal is not championship weekend. Maryland's goal is to win the national title. And John Tillman, with a week to prepare, again, continues to be the best in the history of the sport. He's at, 11-1 now?
It's unbelievable.
11-1 in quarterfinal games at Maryland. He's 8-2 in the semifinals. Those numbers are just ridiculous.
It really is incredible. It's absurd how good the John Tillman teams are in May.
They're 2-6 on Memorial Day, and they haven't played well. And you go back 2 years when they won it in 2022 with that dominant team. They only beat Cornell 9-7.
Oh, they had to survive, right? Yeah, no doubt.
And this Cornell team is better than that Cornell team. This Cornell team is better. So you think about that. They survive exactly. If you added 2 to 5 minutes on the clock that day, Cornell might have caught them at the wire, like journalism.
Yeah. So Quint, we're chatting with Quint Kessenich from ESPN. That said, right? What did we learn when Penn State played Cornell? Given how long ago it was, to your point, Cornell 1 we know has the best player in the country. And then 2 is definitively the best team, has earned that. But is there still a Jeff Tambroni factor? Like what do we make of this rematch and the fact that Penn State was the one team that was able to beat Cornell this season?
Well, that game was a flukish game. If you go back and watch it, Cornell led 12-9 with 2:27 to go in the game. And on the next face-off, Cornell face-off man Jack Cascadden committed a 2-minute non-releasable penalty. Penn State ran off 3 extra man goals, basically, to tie the score up with 18 seconds to go in the game. You think about an unreleasable, you go on the extra man, there's no face-off. They score, they come back to the draw, but you don't have your Fogo. He's the guy in the penalty box. So it was make it, take it at the end of that game. It was a bizarre ending. That was so long ago. It was a game Penn State, they played that game without Matt Traynor, and they played that game without Kyle Lehman, their 2 best attack players. So I kind of throw that result out and kind of look at the now. We know Cornell can score. What impressed me last week was their half-court offense wasn't exactly humming. And it wasn't humming early in the first-round game against Albany, but they found ways to score and transition last week in early offense. They got all sorts of defensive midfielders up and down the field. And so they got to their number. It wasn't the usual half-court excellence, but they show you they can score in a lot of different ways, off of face-offs, off of the ride, and when they do make clean stops.
Do you feel like that Cornell is definitively the better? Like they should be favored by the 2.5, 3 goals in this situation?
Yeah, that's a number. I don't know. I mean, these games can spiral out of control, and teams, as you know, in playoff games can end up chasing at the end, and a 1-goal game can suddenly balloon to a 3-goal game. So I'm not recommending anyone take a side here. But what impressed me seeing Penn State practice last Friday at Navy and then watching them play is the senior class. They have a lot of seniors. I didn't quite pick up on it before the game, but afterwards I was like, Matt Traynor, senior, he took over that game. Will Peden, senior. Ethan Long, senior. Luke Wallstrom, senior. They have about 8 seniors who are in there 2 deep. And these guys have experience from championship weekend back in 2023 when they lost in the semifinals. They have an incredible coach. They're balanced offense, middle of the field defense, good goaltending at times, a stud defender in Alex Ross who can cover C.J. Kirst. So this team is solid as a rock, where maybe Cornell comes in. Yes, they're the best team in the country offensively, but they still have some questions in my eyes defensively.
The thought on John Tillman's record in championship games, some of that is it's the championship game, right? Like it's very difficult to win championship
higher level
games,
competition,
right?
yes.
Like we acknowledge that. And look, a year ago, nobody really thought they were winning that championship game. It was kind of a miracle they were there. But I say that to say, does the second semifinal is that real? Like, and again, this year there's nothing to complain about. They were the number 2 seed. That Cornell deserves, to have the advantage in that situation. But is it that much of a factor that's impacted them over the years, Quint?
It can be. It can be when you're not deep, when you don't really have a second midfield, when you don't sub much at the midfield defensive position. It can be. I played in 2 championship games, and in the second one, I felt like that was the difference in the game. The other team got a little more contributions from roster spot 10 through 20. If you take the top 10, Cornell to me has the best top 10 in the country. It's roster spots 11 through 20 that maybe they're vulnerable, and that shows up on Monday. Maryland's issues on Monday, to me, it's more process related. Like Maryland, John Tillman is a meticulous, brilliant in his game planning, machine-like. He's a real thinker. And do you give him a week to prepare with his intelligence and with the way they practice? They're really buttoned up. And it hasn't been the same on one day's prep.
I get that.
Again, the NFL model there would be the Thursday night games.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night NFL games suck. Both teams just generally struggle in that game compared to what you see on a Sunday game.
You're neutralizing how much of a coaching advantage you can have in that situation, right?
Exactly. Yes. How much can you install in one day? Exactly. Yeah. So those games are typically pretty vanilla. Again, player availability, player energy. You have to play more people. And that's not typically what Maryland does when they slow these games down. They don't have to go as deep on their roster.
All right, a selfish one for me. What do you think about Loyola hiring Justin Ward?
Love it. Yeah. Love it. I mean, I see that. Pulling him from Army is a big deal. And to me, it sets up Justin 5 years from now, maybe being the head coach at Loyola. That makes all the sense in the world. I give Charlie credit for making some moves and not standing still after what was a rough year. Yeah, they got some young talent on that team, and that bodes well. And the Patriot League feels like there's going to be some turnover year to year. Teams like, I was impressed with Colgate this year and Lafayette, the job they were able to do. I think Navy has talent. They got to stay healthy at the face-off spot. And Army has kind of been the standard in the league, but Army loses a lot. So Loyola should be back in the mix.
I know, obviously, the games themselves. What else can we plug for you, Quint Kessenich?
I don't know. I did a podcast for Lax All-Stars that was pretty fun yesterday with Paul Carcaterra and Dana Boyle. It's on laxallstars.com, the media section. And what I'll tell you about it is we got the women's championships also.
Oh, in the same location.
In Gillette. And so those games are Friday afternoon, and their championship game is going to be on Sunday. So it's cool when we get to town and everybody's there. And I think the women's game continues to grow, and the play has never been more incredible on the field. So I like the fact that we're combining the D1 men's and women's.
It's why I did the Patriot League women's tournament this year, and like watching the number, like what Charlotte North, and it's not just Charlotte. I know like Dana, but like the number of players that are now shooting from outside in the women's game is crazy to me. Like with heat, like it's looking like, wow, it's not been like this. 10 years ago when I first started calling women's lacrosse games, it did not look like it does at the moment in women's lacrosse.
No. Glenn, I helped coach my daughter as a sophomore at Garrison Forest A conference. We didn't win an A conference game, but watching that league, and then I was at the BC North Carolina game regular season down at Chapel Hill, and to go field level and see the quality of athlete that now plays women's lacrosse, they're big, fast, strong, and skilled, and that game moves. It's serious stuff.
At Q Kessenich, that's how you follow him. Enjoy the weekend up in Foxborough, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us this morning. We really appreciate it, dude.
Thanks, Glenn.
Quint Kessenich with us here on GCR. Appreciate him taking the time. I really do feel I think it's correct, right? Like if you list the odds, I don't know what. Somebody pull up what the actual odds are. I would say that I would think that Cornell probably deserves to have percentage-wise like a 32% chance, and then Maryland like a 28% chance, 27 maybe, and then Syracuse like a 23, 22, whatever that math would be, 22% chance, Penn State and 18, something in that neighborhood is what it feels like it should be, which is everybody should be kind of.
Yeah, it's Cornell plus 140 to win it all, right? That's
okay.
Right. Yeah. Plus 140 Cornell, Maryland plus 240, Syracuse plus 370.
Yeah.
And then Penn State plus 500.
So plus money on everyone.
Correct.
And I get that there's 4 teams left, so that's. But what was Penn State?
Plus 500.
So the longest shot is still only plus 500. That's how competitive it is. A couple of quick notes. One, Orioles make another roster move today. Andrew Kittredge will finally make his Orioles debut.
We're back.
We've been waiting for that moment, man. We've been waiting for it. This is the one. It's all starting to turn now. They're not going to give up as many points as they've been giving up, is what I think.
Less points per game allowed.
Exactly right. That's what we're talking about. So Andrew Kittredge is in. Chase McDermott is back out. Of course, what that means is Charlie Morton's back in the rotation. Charlie Morton's going to start on Friday. Nobody wants to talk about it, but Charlie Morton was better last week. So there you go.
Cool. I was planning to go to the movies Friday anyway. So
yeah? What are you going to see on Friday?
Friendship.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
nationwide on Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought that might be one that maybe could hit a streamer a little bit quicker.
There's
nobody.
We'll see,
this is the problem. Mrs. Clark, no chance in hell she's going with me to see Friendship. So it becomes a question of, I'm struggling with this. I've got an extra ticket to Sturgill Simpson on Saturday night. And I have ran through like my first 5 people that I go to concerts with, and they're like, oh, dude, we got Memorial Day weekend plans. And I'm like, right, I forgot it's Memorial Day weekend. So now I'm sitting here with this extra ticket to Sturgill Simpson, like, do I just put it out there? Like, do I invite a listener? Do I say, like, hey, do you guys want to go to Sturgill Simpson with me? That feels desperate. That feels weird. But there's no chance in hell that Mrs. Clark has any interest in going. She's like, I have to.
You're not allowed to make her go, or?
No, that's the type of stuff that you got to trade in.
Oh, okay.
Like
this is a big
once
ask. Okay.
once time the Twilight movie, her friend that she normally went to the Twilight movies with wouldn't go with her to the last Twilight. I don't know, maybe she was having a kid or something. I'm not sure. So she said, "I need you to go to the Twilight movie with me."
One of those probably hectic as well, you know.
Right. She said, "I need you to go," and I said, "Well, no, I'm not going to do that. I have zero interest in that." And she said, "Well, I'll give you a one-time whatever." And I was like, "Whatever you say." And she said, "Well, with limits." And I was like, and I'm not going to get into the details of all that, but to the point, like, I got something out of that. And that's if in the end.
Dang, that's what marriage is? So you just going to see a movie counts as like a.
If it's that movie.
Punch card?
If it's that movie, yes. The suffering that I put up with. I wanted to gouge my eyes out 5 minutes into the film. It was horrible.
Could have been that bad.
It was that bad. She also made me do it for
one.
one
The
of
first one was like good.
I've never watched any of the other ones, so I'm not going to attempt to say anything about this.
But
she also got me to go to one of the Fast and Furious movies with her, and it was a similar. I don't care for the Fast and Furious franchise. It doesn't.
But yeah, how can you sit there and think you're in hell watching a Fast and Furious?
It was not as bad as the Twilight movie. I will give you that. It wasn't good.
So
it wasn't a good
someone
film.
asked you to go see.
Well, it was the one after Paul Walker died, like the one that he was still in, but then I see you again.
Yeah.
That one, right? Like that was the movie. Ronda Rousey was in it, the whole 9 yards, right? I know you love Ronda Rousey.
We all know. Yeah.
So
we all do.
Yeah, sure. She's fine. The moral of the story being that I went with that, but I don't think I got as good of a deal in return for that one. I don't care enough about her going to Sturgill Simpson with me that I want to make a deal here. I have no interest in giving anything up over. I will go by myself. I by the way, in fact, straight shoot, the last time I saw Sturgill Simpson, I went by myself. Very similar situation. Had 2 tickets. Buddy of mine that was going to go, might have been Van Valkenburg, bailed on me. I think I found out later there was a good reason, if I remember correctly.
It was probably pretty hectic over there, whatever he was doing.
It was very. No. I think I found out what it was, and I was like, all right, my bad. Because I was pretty pissed at him at first. That was on the heels of I had offered him a ticket to another show, and he thought that I was inviting him and his girlfriend. And he was like, oh. It was very uncomfortable. I was like, let me see if I can get you another ticket. And then I ditched them because I was like, I'm a third wheel now. I just wanted a date to the show. That was the point here. So you were just supposed to be my date. You got your own date. I'm going to go hang out with some other people that I happen to know that were at the show. But I'll just go by myself before I try to negotiate with my wife to get her to go with me. But do I put it out there? Do I do the bit where I just put it out there publicly? Like, hey, does anybody like Sturgill Simpson? Do you want to be my date to the show? But I don't. That feels desperate to me.
What's the name of his tour?
Johnny Blue Skies, I believe. This is the Johnny Blue Skies tour. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because his last record he did as an alter ego of Johnny Blue Skies.
This is the Johnny Blue Skies tour. Okay. Yeah.
Sturgill is brilliant. He's amazing. Everything about Sturgill is a 10.5. Even the Johnny Blue Skies record was outstanding. I don't know why he was doing this. This isn't like when Garth Brooks pretended to be Chris Gaines and it sucked. This was really good. I don't know why he did it, but it was really good. Point is, I don't have to. How did we get here? Or the movie thing. That's where we got there from.
Oh, yeah.
I would go.
I'm not watching New Orleans Friday. Yeah, that's what
I would go to. Oh, right, because Charlie Morton's starting on Friday. I would go see Friendship, but I would just go by myself. There's no chance that I could coordinate anyone in my life.
Boys, right?
Yeah, the boys. Sure. I would. And by the way, these are all people that would like it. But this is where I am. We all have kids. We all have things going on. I can't get anybody to do anything. So I'm either going to go through the texting everyone I know and have they all disappoint me, right? They're like
something hectic.
So yeah, sorry, hectic time. That's what I get from everybody, and then I go through the rejection, right? Like just nothing but rejection of my friends, or I just say I'll wait till it's streaming, and that's the more likely scenario is that I'm just going to wait till it's streaming, unless I can take the kids. I'm not going to see the movie anymore. That's just the way that it works in my life. I only got to see Thundergers because I was able to take the kids.
Yeah,
I was only able to go because the kids went with us. Otherwise, would never have happened.
Oh, John and Little Rock said he would go. But
well, of course he would go. I know he would go. He has good taste in music. You want to fly up this weekend, John? I would love to go with you. John, I called Alan McCallum the other day, and he was like, I don't listen to Sturgill Simpson. I got nothing here. I'm screwed, man. It's hopeless. I'm not finding a date to Sturgill Simpson on Saturday night. And this is the thing, too.
Well, I'm sorry.
I drive. That's the craziest part about it.
So you're saying I could get absolutely destroyed?
Yeah, you could get hammered. I didn't say I invited you.
Well, I'm not trying to go anyway.
Yeah, right?
Memorial Day weekend.
If you really wanted to go, do you even know a Sturgill Simpson song?
I have no clue.
Yeah,
who
I
Sturgill
mean,
Simpson
but if
is.
you
He
really,
could walk in right
if
now.
you really wanted to
I just looked
go,
up a picture of him. So
if you said he was in Red Just Gemstones. Actually, he was.
Again, I'm very familiar
not,
with that too.
Not this season. I think the previous season. If you really wanted to go, I would absolutely have you go with me, and I would drive. Legitimately, you could get bombed. Now, you have to sleep at my house, I guess. I don't know how that would work. I don't care. We got plenty of rooms. There's like 70 beds. I don't know how to explain it. Although one of them is the cat's bedroom now. I walked in the other day because sometimes when one of the boys crawls into our bed, I'm like, there's not enough space in this bed. I need to go sleep somewhere else. And I went to go sleep in the one guest room, and the cat, it's the cat's room. Like, what the hell happened here? Still, the upstairs guest room still works just fine. And my younger son has bunk beds, so like there couldn't be more beds. Whenever people like they come to the pig roast, they're like, "Well, if I get drunk, I don't know what I'm going to do." I'm like, "We have 70 beds. All we have is beds." My wife wants to get rid of the bed we have up in the upstairs guest room to replace it with 2 single beds. I said, "For what reason?" She's like, "Well, what if 2 different people want to spend?" I'm like, but what is the likelihood that there are going to be 2 separate people that want to sleep in the same room but not in the same bed? Name the scenario by which that happens. She's like,
she's trying to plan.
She's like, well, there could be like maybe like an aunt and a cousin. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It's never going to happen.
Maybe it would.
No. Never gonna. It's just gonna make people that are couples that want to sleep in the same bed that might spend the night be uncomfortable because now they're stuck sleeping in a single bed. Makes no sense. No thought to this whatsoever. It's stupid.
That seems like
Feels like your
the least of the
grandparents sleeping in
problem.
single beds but not in the same bed. Like that's what it feels like. How do we get here? Andrew Kittredge. Movies.
Not
I'll never,
watching Charlie Morton
I'll see Friendship when it streams.
I saw
most
Charlie
likely.
Morton pitched twice in the same week, live in person. That's the last I needed.
Were they home this weekend or are they on the road?
Actually, I've seen Charlie Morton
They're
pitch 3 times in person.
They're not
year
home this
already.
weekend, are they?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So you were never at risk of that.
I know, but I don't need to watch any more Charlie Morton.
You're not even going to watch it on television.
Correct.
Even when I was watching Thundergers the
Even
other
I
day,
play.
I still
I mean,
put
it's
the
gonna,
game
like,
on
rain
my
the rest of the
phone.
week, isn't it?
I still need to be able to talk about it. Like that's the way that it works.
Yeah, but it's a Friday game. No one will remember.
That's true.
And we won't be back until Tuesday.
But they might fire another manager after.
Yeah, maybe
they do that.
I'll recalibrate if needed.
Sure, we'll go from there. By the way, this has got to go. This is just embarrassing. It's got to go. Let's work on that.
All
right. By next Tuesday, just move the Sandlot thing back.
Yeah, I gotta get more to the
what are we doing here? This is just so pathetic. We did Reed and Glenn last night. By the way, Reed and Glenn available where YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. That's a new episode of Reed and Glenn. We did it last night, and she looked over, and I just saw her face, and I'm like, you're right. You're right. This is pathetic. What are we doing? It's got to go. And then also NFL meetings this week. They will not be banning the tush push.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, and I didn't know this, you have to get 75% approval.
Yeah,
so
it was 24. Yeah.
10 teams voted against banning the tush push.
Seems like the Ravens were one of them.
Well, given how they've run the tush push, or do we have actual reporting about that?
No, I'm just
I
speculating.
mean,
But
given that the Ravens,
and Harbaugh said that he likes it, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think the coaches are the ones that vote.
Right.
Yeah, to the point. Why would Steve Bisciotti vote against his head coach? Yes, I get it. But yeah, it required 75% of the vote. 10 teams voted against, so it only got 22, and so it comes up short. But it would seem like momentum is growing because that wasn't the word that at the last owner.
Schefter actually just did report Ravens did side with the Eagles. He doesn't have the full list. Ravens, Patriots, Jets, Lions.
Yeah, Harbaugh still loves the Eagles, huh? Can never cut the cord, dude. It seems like they've never if it has this much momentum from the reporting was half the teams at the February meetings to now 22 teams this time around, then it feels like
we're about a year away.
Momentum is those teams are going to keep trying to pressure some of the other teams to try to get it done. But Won't be in time for this year. The tush-push will continue moving forward.
Slight amendment to the kickoff.
What was the slight amendment?
They will allow for onside kicks to be declared at any point in a game for a
that,
team that is trailing. You still have to be trailing.
It's still contrived. It's still farcical. It was nonsense that you could. There's no reason for the rule to be written that there are different rules in football for trailing teams. That's complete farce. And we're not dealing with it because it doesn't really come up. But it's still a farce. Allow either team to try an onside kick. Now, why would the team that's leading ever? The only reason why you would ever do it is because you could catch them by surprise.
So when the Saints did that in the Super Bowl,
they
were ahead. No, they were.
I don't know if they were ahead or if they were tied. I don't remember which one it was. But the point being, I understand what they're really saying is, well, this doesn't matter because there's no reason why without that was a surprise onside kick. Mm-hmm. There can be no more surprise onside kicks. So I understand what they're really saying is there's no reason why a team that's leading would ever try an onside kick. Get it?
They were trailing. They were down 10-6.
10-6, okay. I understand exactly what they're saying, but they still should never have the rules of the sport should never be different and beneficial to the trailing team than to the leading team. That's a farce.
So we should put an asterisk next to the Super Bowl. The Eagles won the 2024.
Right, it was farcical, 100%. Yep, that doesn't really count. It's that simple. Just say, okay, any team can announce they're trying an onside kick and go for it. Any team can. And understand that the team that's leading almost certainly never will. But to actually write a rule that's different and beneficial to a trailing team is an abomination. It's farcical.
It was unanimous to do this. It also included players on the onside kicking team to move up a yard, with the NFL hoping it will improve the rate of recovery.
What are we doing?
I didn't think I was going to get that reaction. So the ball is on the 35. So previously the 10 covering guys had to be on the 34, so like a yard behind the ball. Now they can all be even with the ball at the 35. So it gives them an extra.
And the only thing I would say is, like,
here.
why was that the rule that they all had to be at the 34, right? Like, that's the only thing I would say in response. But like, this thing, I always talk about it, where never forget you're just watching a TV show. They are trying to the reason why they're obsessed with the idea of the 4th and 15 is they want to make the games farcical. They want to force closer games so that you have to keep watching. That's what Major League Baseball wants. They're going to do this. They want to do the stupid golden bat or whatever the F it is.
That sounds awesome.
No, it doesn't. They want it to be fake.
Just imagine Dylan Carlson coming off the bench.
So,
Yeah.
They want it to be fake. He got a hit last night. You better show some respect. They want it to be fake because they want the games to be closer. Never forget that. Oh, and the one rule that actually did make sense is the one they also didn't adopt. The reseeding.
So you wanted So the argument I saw was that apparently all the owners like the idea of any team having a chance to host a playoff game, like coming into the season. Like if there's a chance now that whoever wins the NFC South, they didn't pass the rule, but whoever wins the NFC South doesn't get a home playoff game, right? Like that's
if you don't win enough games. The idea would be
so they want the owners is what
they want to reward teams that aren't trying.
No,
that aren't good.
They want everybody to have a chance to host.
Right, they want to reward teams that aren't good. That's what they want to do.
I mean,
that's the answer.
I guess
you can say it however you want to say it, but it's the same thing. They want to reward teams that aren't. The New Orleans Saints aren't good.
I think the Buccaneers were trying.
The Buccaneers were half trying, right? Like they were half trying. They want to reward teams for not being good. That's the reality of it. It's a joke, but we're used to it. It's Stockholm Syndrome. We've dealt with it. Well, it makes sense to me. Like, then why would divisions matter? And I ask you this: would we suddenly stop caring about Ravens-Steelers because you didn't think that the winner of the division might not get a home game in the playoffs? We just say breathless things that don't hold up under the simplest of scrutiny. Now, I don't know that the AFC South games would matter because that doesn't have the history of other divisions. It's newer teams. I don't know. But, like, the suggestion that suddenly Eagles-Cowboys doesn't matter because there's not a guarantee of getting a home game if we win the NFC East is laughable. It's preposterous. We just say this crap because we're just so used to something that we won't have the conversation about it. There is never, ever, ever justification for a 7 or 8 win team hosting a 14-win team in the playoffs. Nothing justifies that. The nonsense of, well, but they did what they were supposed to do. They won their division. That doesn't mean it. That's a set of 6 games. 6 games. Out of 17, and it's going to be more. 1/3 of your games, you happen to win more. It's like rewarding the winner of the NBA's in-season tournament with a number 3 seed in the playoffs. If you suck, if you win 30 games all year, but you happen to win those, we're going to give you the number 3 seed in the playoffs. It's a joke. But this is the crap we just accept because we're used to it. We don't scrutinize it. We just say, well, I don't know. It doesn't happen all that much. Well, it literally just happened last year. And again, we don't feel sorry for the Vikings because, frankly, they weren't that good. Right? Like,
they lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, we don't feel sorry for them. But they didn't deserve. Was it the Vikings or the Lions? The Vikings, right?
Yeah,
went on the road. Yeah, they lost that game. They didn't deserve to be on the road to start the playoffs.
Should have won one more game.
No. Stop it. Stop it. We hold them to that standard, but we don't hold other teams the standard of maybe they should have to win more games. Stop. It's breathless. It's bullshit.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. It's okay. But we can't. We just, I don't know, it doesn't happen all that much. That was the argument somebody made to me this morning. It just doesn't happen all that much. I don't understand why it's that big of a deal. If it happens once, justify it. You can't. What they really want, they are fearful that bad teams want to be able to still charge more for tickets to division games. And their fear is that if you take away that reward, then it's gone. The reward would still be the winner of the division gets into the playoffs. So that Week 17 Falcons-Saints game still matters because you're fighting for a playoff spot. Because Lord knows they're not both going to get in when they're 9-8. It's that you're still fighting. Winning the division does still matter because it gets you in the playoffs despite the fact that you might not deserve to even be in the playoffs. There's just no argument, no justification for this. Come back in. Get a tidbit, get 2-bit, or wind things down. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
Discover luxury without limits at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. This April, unlock a world of high-fashion delights and exclusive style. Earn entries daily starting April 1st and join our drawing on Friday, April 25th. 19 will win up to $2,000 in cash and free play. And one grand prize winner will take home a curated Versace homeware collection. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now, and on the cover, Luke Jackson looks at the long road back from Tommy John surgery for Orioles closer Felix Bautista, as well as Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells. Also inside, we learn more about new Maryland basketball coach Buzz Williams from the players who have played for him at other stops. Plus, evaluators around baseball chime in on Orioles' top prospect Samuel Basayo. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here as we wind down for a Wednesday edition of the program. Continue to get your responses for Would You Rather Wednesday. Somebody's winning a $30 gift card to Glory Days Grill. At Glenn Clark Radio, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Go get your responses now. If you missed Stan the Fan, Ross Grimsley and Luke Jackson talking baseball, you can find that by going to Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn. Time for us to get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by Sports and Social inside Live Casino and Hotel, and actually really by Live Casino and Hotel, because don't forget, June 7th, just a couple of Saturdays away, we're doing a poker tournament at Live Casino and Hotel, and we'll be getting you a little bit more of the details about that, but make sure you're joining us for the first ever Glenn Clark Radio poker tournament.
That'll be a great day, too. Poker tournament, and then UFC 316 right after.
Ah, yes. I will be with you for one of those things.
Oh, you're being down to the UFC 316?
No, I'll be there for the poker tournament.
Oh,
the Glenn Clark Radio poker tournament.
Why would Glenn Clark be at that?
Yeah, I'll be there for that. And then you can hang out at Sports and Social and watch. I'll see if Mrs. Clark wants to join you.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
see if
That
she's.
works.
I'm going to see Third Eye Blind that night. That's where I will be that evening.
Why would they schedule a Third Eye Blind concert for the night?
I know. They didn't even think about it, right? It's unbelievable, isn't it? Incredible how that worked out. But yeah, save the date for the first ever GCR poker tournament at Live Casino and Hotel.
Logan Henderson, the Brewers pitcher.
Who?
Logan Henderson.
Who?
He pitched for the Brewers last night. The
Who?
Orioles didn't score a run off of him.
Not familiar.
Did they? Yeah, no, they didn't score. They did not score a run off of him. He became the first pitcher in the modern era to strike out 7 batters and earn the win in each of his first 3 career starts, career appearances for Logan Henderson. So congrats to him, I guess.
By the way, apparently there's a conversation about Felix Bautista's not pitching enough, and so when they're trailing, he's going to have to pitch, right? Like we saw that last night, and it didn't go well. No excuses. This is the Craig Kimbrell thing from last year, right? Like, if you're a high-level closer, you pitch when you pitch. There's no, yeah, but I'm not pitching it. No. That's what happened last night isn't okay. It's not acceptable, and there's no excuse of, well, he hasn't pitched in a little while. We had thought going into the year that Felix Bautista was looking like Felix Bautista again a couple weeks ago, and then the last couple times out, not so great. So I don't want to hear those excuses. Go ahead.
Did you want to address like more of this since some of our other tweets got play yesterday, or I guess there was?
Sure, go ahead. What do you want to?
I mean, I don't know, the Sean Manaea thing. Like, dive into that more, or
no?
Okay,
I'm good.
All right,
I'm good.
I just wasn't sure. And then so the other one, the two pitchers this season have joined a list that became.
So what am I saying about Sean Manaea?
I mean, go ahead. I mean, make sure I want to give you a platform for it.
No, dude, I had it with a couple of people yesterday. Like the people that so Brett, it's so much bigger than this. We have to write down my 10 commandments at some point, because one of them is the people on social media that think they're informing someone of something. The people that respond to that, like Sean Manaea hasn't pitched this year. I swear to God,
Buster Olney might not know.
Do you think Buster Olney doesn't know that? Do you, Dave 4704 Batman sign, think
Wait, you can do that on Twitter?
Buster Olney doesn't know that Sean Manaea hasn't pitched this season? I swear to God. Like, we're all guilty of it. I've done it. We've all done it. Somebody recently was talking about like how weird it is that Loyola had Pat Spencer, Cam Spencer, and Santi Aldama, and yet never won the Patriot League. And I genuinely didn't know if this person was aware that Pat Spencer didn't play basketball at Loyola. Like, it was like an SB Nation site. It was not Buster Olney. You know what I mean? Like, it was not. I genuinely did not know if this person was aware of that. Like, that tweet doesn't actually make sense, right? Like, if you want to point out it's kind of weird that in the Patriot League they were never able to really break through, like, I'll listen, but you put out a very misleading tweet suggesting they had all of these NBA players playing basketball. Pat Spencer never played basketball at Loyola. It did not happen.
Oh, it was a Mid-Major Madness tweet.
Mid-Major. I think that's a nice guy.
I know.
The guy that runs that.
Mid-Major Madness as well.
I think that's a nice person that does well to cover, like, I think they're based in this area, in fact. Like, I think they cover Towson games and stuff like that. And I'm not sure who the person is, but I think they're a nice person. But, like, legitimately, I did not know because it's a very misleading tweet. What Buster Olney was saying about Sean Manaea was not. If what we had said, if our tweet said, Buster Olney says the Orioles would be good if they just had Sean Manaea, then you would be right to point out, well, that doesn't make sense. Sean Manaea hasn't pitched. That's not what the tweet said. The tweet was about how bizarre it is that the Orioles went from Plan A Corbin Burns to Plan B nothing. And I don't know if Sean Manaea will be able to back up the exceptional season he had a year ago. I have no idea. But the point remains the same. I had somebody who kept trying to say to me, well, Sean Manaea and Charlie Morton are no different. What the F are you talking about? Charlie Morton's 41 and coming off a season where he had a +1.3 whip. Sean Manaea is 33 and coming off a season where he had a 1.08 whip.
Pretty good.
They're not similar bets. Now, yes, that was better than the previous seasons. Sean Manaea, like the 2 or 3 seasons before that, had not been that good. So if the point is, I hear you, I'm just not sure that Sean Manaea would have been worth it, there's a point to be made. Problem being, you can do that with everyone. There's another on my 10 Commandments list. There's nothing we're better at than figuring out why we shouldn't spend money on a player. Thou shalt not immediately dismiss the idea of ever spending money on anyone. But that's what we do. Well, you can't give that contract out. Sean Manaea might not be as good as he was last year. But trying to make it seem like it's a similar bet between Sean Manaea and Charlie Morton, well, like they kind of did Sean Manaea. They got Charlie Morton. No, they got a 41-year-old who had one decent season in the last 3 years. And that year, it was pure luck. I think it was 2 years ago, his ERA was sub 4. And then go look at his whip, it was over 1.4. He got lucky 2 years ago to have a decent season. Sean Manaea and Charlie Morton ain't the same, bro. And that's not me guaranteeing that Sean Manaea is going to be good, or even me saying that the Orioles' singular problem was that they didn't call Sean Manaea. It's that it's a representation of how there was no backup plan. How insane it was that it was Corbin Burns or bust. Because Charlie Morton was bust. To be fair, even Charlie Morton, Tomo Sagano, who's worked a little bit, and let's ease up on the length. We're judging it by Oriole standards. That Tomo Sagano has worked.
He's an ace. I mean, I don't.
Yes.
There's no other way to.
Yeah.
Describe
Thank you. He's really a back end of the rotation pitcher that we think is miraculous because the Orioles don't even have back end of the rotation pitchers. That's bust. Sean Manaea would have been an in between. Would he have been as good as he was last year? The peripherals all check out from last year. There's nothing that makes you think that last year was luck for Sean Manaea. And they changed some arm slot stuff and got better velocity, and maybe the Orioles would F that up. Maybe they're inclined to F everybody up. But, sorry. The idea, the notion that Buster Olney doesn't know that Sean Manaea hasn't pitched this season, get the entire F out of here. I mean, what? I hate this place. I hate it so much.
Since we're talking about college basketball, apparently Towson and Loyola will be playing downtown.
Hell yeah, brother.
Night.
Hell yeah, brother.
Looking forward to that.
50,000 people packing in.
Can they fit 50 in there?
I don't think so. But the word is it's going to be part of an event of some sort.
Yeah. So exciting.
They're going to need the one last year. Unfortunately, is kind of a dud. Like
that was
it was
Virginia,
Virginia Tech, Villanova, Penn State, and unfortunately,
VA versus VA.
It all of the Villanova and Virginia just so happened to be the worst of their recent powers
of the last decade.
That happened to be the absolute worst. It didn't have a lot of juice. It unfortunately, and they're going to find this out every time. Either you got to bring in a big outside power, right? Like
play Towson,
a true name brand program. North Carolina, Duke, and I get that North Carolina also stunk last year, so there'll be irony in that. But a real brand value, or it's got to be Maryland.
Florida should come and play Towson here.
Right. Penn State football would matter in Baltimore. Virginia Tech football would matter in Baltimore. West Virginia football matters in Baltimore. Those basketball programs do not resonate. And Virginia and Villanova, for all the success they've had, are still not like brand basketball programs.
So who would you like to see in the second game of this?
Maryland playing somebody relevant. But they don't want to give up that home game, so it really is damned if you do, damned if you don't. Maryland would be willing to give up a nondescript home game where there wouldn't be that many people there.
UMBC or
no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't want it to be a local game.
Okay.
They'd want it to be like Maryland would play. They played Charlotte at the arena before. That type of game, nondescript, not going to draw a ton of people to their building.
Canisius. Yeah.
But the problem is, it's not going to draw a ton of people in Baltimore either. Like, if Derek Queen was coming back to play for Maryland this year, then you could put a nondescript Maryland game in the arena because people would be like, oh, yeah, we're excited about Maryland. Nobody knows if Maryland's going to be good next year or not. They help us to get this kid they're going for on Friday, Sebastian Wilkins.
Okay, so yeah, the actual tidbit I had.
We got to fly.
Yeah,
now.
we
Sorry.
can save it.
No, go ahead.
I mean, because I wanted to have you guest stuff. And
how many is it?
It's 6.
Oh, for God's sakes! All right, fine, quick.
So pitchers going to new teams and having great seasons.
Nope,
2 guys.
Take it back. We're not doing it.
We'll save it.
I mean, we could be here for forever if I did that. I mean, how am I supposed to remember?
Well, I was going to help you out a little
Scherzer,
bit.
Verlander.
Scherzer's on the list. Yeah.
Okay, great. New teams. Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, I'm not even giving you the parameters.
All right, give me the parameters.
Okay, so pitchers to go unbeaten through their first 10 starts.
Who the hell would know?
And sub-2 ERA in their first 10 starts with a new team, all since 1990.
Corbin Burns.
So Scherzer, there's 2 guys this season that have joined this list. Scherzer was the most recent prior.
Garrett Crochet.
When he joined the Dodgers in 2021. Not Crochet.
Who knows who's unbeaten?
Baseball fans?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so sure.
One guy pitched last
Max
night.
Fried.
Both guys, yes, Max Fried. There you go.
Okay, great.
Max Fried. He didn't pitch last night, but yes, Max Fried is, of course, on this list. The Yankees have not lost in Max Fried starts. His ERA is still
I'm
like
pretty
1-1.
sure Corbin Burns is lost, so I don't think it's Corbin Burns. Jack Flaherty.
Not Jack Flaherty.
I don't know who hasn't lost. Like, that's such a weird.
Traded in December from Miami.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Would have been nice to trade for this guy.
Right.
Cool. Having a really good year.
Luzardo.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's Jesus Luzardo.
Yeah.
He's now on.
He's Philly.
Yeah. Jesus Luzardo, Max Fried this year. Scherzer in 21. Before Scherzer, the guy to so first year with a new team in 2008. He was a Milwaukee Brewer in 08.
CC.
Yep, CC Sabathia. Before CC, 98. His new team.
98.
His new team was the Red Sox.
Pedro?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the year before that as well, sub-2 ERA through the first 10 games, unbeaten with his new team, the Toronto Blue Jays, in 97.
Clemens?
Roger Clemens, yes.
All right, that didn't go so poorly.
Paul
all right.
Casella of,
Thank you, Paul. Hit the thing.
Okay, everybody, it's going to be quick today.
What was the main focus today, Coach?
Fundamentals, ball control. It's always huge.
Any early thoughts on the competition this year?
Well, look, this is the best of the best players in the world. It's going to be an amazing tournament.
Tournament?
Yeah, the BMW Championship at Caves Valley. What are you guys talking about? All they ever ask me about is football.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. These guys coming in here and asking about football. No, I appreciate that. Looking forward to the BMW Championship. Here's what's coming up. Orioles, Brewers this afternoon, so they can't ruin your evening. Got that going for you, which is nice.
Watch Knicks Pacers tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe an enjoyment.
Tomo Sagano on the mound against Chad Patrick, whatever that is, and he'll probably
want his life story? I looked it up.
Sure, he'll probably throw 6 shutout innings.
Late round draft pick with Arizona, so he was actually traded to Oakland back when they were still the Oakland. I don't know if you know, they used to be in Oakland actually, the Athletics.
Are you sure?
Yeah. They traded Jace Peterson to Arizona, and he helped them almost win a World Series.
How about it?
Yeah.
How
and
about
then he was traded to Milwaukee.
Wasn't Jace Peterson an Orioles legend?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Orioles legend Jace Peterson, involved in the Chad Patrick story. So.
How about that?
And then he was traded to Milwaukee for Abraham Toro.
Ah, yes.
I don't know,
they
that
call
was a
him
deadline.
Father Abraham.
That was
said. You won't believe this. He had many sons. Many sons. Chad Patrick, a little bit surprising he didn't follow in his father Dan's footsteps into broadcasting.
Really? His dad?
Yeah, a little bit surprising.
How did I miss that? I was
and didn't also go into his sister Danica's racing career. A little bit surprising.
They're all related?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't even know
right?
Danica. So Dan.
Go ahead. You want to play the game? Go ahead.
Hold on. Well, first I'm just trying to figure out.
Go
Dan
ahead.
Patrick named his daughter Danica.
Yeah,
but then he
it
named
seems
his son Patrick.
it seems odd. What?
He named his son.
His name is son Chad.
Oh, Chad. Sorry.
Yeah, Chad Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick
Come on.
Patrick would have been better. I think.
Yeah, it would have been great actually. Have it all in. Go ahead.
Patrick
what you got?
Patrick Starr.
I got. Oh, we're doing first names. We could be here
Patrick,
forever.
isn't he?
Patrick Schwarzenegger.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, that only barely. Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Valaika.
He didn't go by Patrick.
Yeah, but he's Patrick.
I'm only going to let that count so we can keep playing the game, but we're no more of those. Patrick Peterson.
I mean, everyone knows his full name as well as Patrick McAfee.
No. I just said no more. They've got to be they have to be Patricks.
Pretty sure his license
They
says Patrick.
did not go by Patrick. They have to be Patricks.
You have.
You don't have any more. You don't have any more. You got no more.
Glenn. Alex.
I'm waiting for it. Go ahead.
Stan. No. Pat.
You better have a few more ready, by the way. Just.
Alex, help me out here. Think of my name, Patrick.
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. That was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, was it? I don't know why this became a 2-on-1. How about the lead singer of the band Filter? You don't know who that is, do you? You have no idea who that is.
You're making this one up.
No, I'm not. You can look it up right now. Richard Patrick. Wake up my airplane, wake up my plane. Can you sing? You don't know Hey Man, Nice Shot? That's why they say Hey Man, Nice Shot.
Patrick Tillman.
Patrick Tillman.
No, he went by Pat. Stop
Patrick
it.
Tillman.
No.
Yeah, but his full name was Patrick.
He went by Pat. Stop it. Try again. But respect. Actual respect to that one. Yeah, I mean, my God, you're not even trying here. I got 70 more.
Yeah, but you've been around 70 years.
Yeah, is that what it is? I mean, one. Come on, dude. You haven't said one. Not Pat.
Patrick Connaughton.
No. You keep trying to come
Patrick
up with...
Kavanaugh.
Patrick Kavanaugh.
No, he went by Pat as well.
Kavanaugh.
Stop it.
I mean, sure, there's probably a...
How about the guy that played Picard?
Patrick.
Yeah. Yeah.
His last name, of course.
Is
Patrick... why can't I...
Yeah, just say the words, for God's sakes. It's 1 PM.
Patrick... No, it's
the
like
game's about to start. Say the words.
You want to watch that?
I know, but we have to.
Patrick Willis.
That actually counts.
There you go.
Like, unbelievably.
Atlanta legend.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. Yeah, there it is. Patty Stew.
Yeah, Patty Stew. That's what all the kids call him. Keep going. I still got more in the chamber, dog. One, that you're gonna feel like the dumbest human being alive that you didn't say it, and I left it for you every time.
Patrick Stevens.
You know what? I'm giving it to you. St. Patrick? You ever heard of him?
That one doesn't count.
We have a whole day for him.
We don't call it It's St. Patty's Day.
No, it's St. Patrick's Day, and you know it
doesn't
is.
count. No,
No, it 1,000% counts.
St. Patty's.
He didn't, however, deliver the snakes out of Ireland, so I have no idea why we actually celebrate the guy. It's a Hallmark holiday when you think about it. Go ahead.
There's a good South Park episode on it.
On St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
It's a good one.
All right.
They call it St. Patty's Day, I'm sure, right?
They do.
Stop it.
Thank you.
St. Patty's Day episode.
They didn't call him
something.
St. They sure as hell didn't call him St. Patty.
Patty's Pub.
No, you won't. Because that was Patty's Pub.
Well, if we're doing Patty's.
No, we're not doing Patty's. We're doing Patrick.
Krabby Patty.
Try again.
With the
Well, by the way, while you're there.
What?
I can't believe that you're.
I already said Patrick Star.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, my bad. My bad. I missed that.
Most notable Patrick of all time, obviously.
Anything else?
Just
say the words. We gotta go. Just say them.
Is there a Stevens Patrick?
I'm sure there's a Stevens Patrick.
There you go.
Go ahead. Say the
Sounds
words.
back.
Say the words.
Alex, you can say it this time, I guess.
No.
words.
You say the words.
Apparently, you're the king of the patties, I guess.
No, I'm not. Say the words.
No.
Say the words.
I don't really want to.
Say them.
I believe in Joe
No.
Hendrick.
No. Say the words.
I guess you're the king of the Patrick.
No,
for
not
today.
you guess. Say the words.
I mean, I guess you
No.
were.
No.
I don't
say
want
the
it to say
words.
definitively.
Say the words.
I guess
we played the game.
that you're the
It
king of the
is
Patrick.
definitive. Say the words. Do it.
No.
Do it.
Hold on, something just came up.
No, nothing came up. Say the
Patrick
words.
Swayze, of course.
Yeah, That was, by the way, in the chamber. Say the words.
Patrick Dempsey, I can go all day.
Yeah, and Patrick Duffy too. Say the words.
You're
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
You're Patrick Benatar.
No, it's the female Pat. It's not even. Say the words.
Patrick Beverly.
Say the word. No, he goes by Pat. Well, actually, yeah.
Patrick Sajak.
No, now you're just.
You're the king of the guys. The people named Patty or Patrick.
Just say the words. You're the king of the Patricks.
Patrick. Yeah.
Say the words.
You're the Patricks. You're the king.
Say the words.
You're the king. You can finish it out.
No, you say the words.
King of Patricks.
I don't understand why you can't just acknowledge that I defeated you. I don't understand why that's so difficult for you.
It shouldn't count.
How about former Ravens running back Alan Patrick? You think I didn't have that one stored up?
Card would have been a good one.
Yeah, maybe that one would have worked. Tubular tonight. I did mention the Orioles are playing. Chad
Patrick Bateman? How do we not get that?
Patrice O'Neal, does that count?
No, absolutely does not count. Does not. All right. As Griffin brought up, the Eastern Conference Finals get underway tonight. TNT and True TV for Pacers-Knicks Game 1 at 8. ESPN Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in the NHL Oilers-Stars at 8 o'clock. Other baseball, Masson's got Braves-Nationals 6:45. MLB Network Guardians-Twins at 1. Mets-Red Sox 6:45. Diamondbacks-Dodgers 10:10. The Washington Mystics and the legendary rivalry of the Golden State Valkyries continues tonight, 10 o'clock on Monumental.
Coast versus Coast.
That's right. TBS for AW Dynamite at 8. Non-sports?
Yeah.
It's going to be hilarious when the first thing you read is a Patrick.
Yeah, I know.
guest
So I was
that's on the
looking.
show,
I was like looking through
Yeah.
real quick, and no, there's not actually. Let's see. Natalie Portman and Dawn Staley will be on Colbert tonight.
They are plugging the Patrick game.
Really?
They're actually
they're
plugging.
Gonna go Patrick versus Patrick.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Barbara
100%.
Patrick versus Patrick. Okay, all right, cool. I guess. That'll be right after the Survivor 48 finale, of course, on CBS as well.
Ah, yes.
Can't wait. I'm not caught up on this season, so I don't know. Celebrity Wheel of Fortune will be on ABC. Going to have Sam Richardson.
You know what, Chris? Yes, Neil Patrick Harris would have counted 100%. Even though it's not his.
See, in my mind, I didn't think that was going to count. That's why I didn't.
That's the reason.
Randall Park and Regina Hall will be on with Sam Richardson.
They're plugging Survivor.
Oh,
yeah.
They're going to be plugging that during Celebrity Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, they're plugging it Survivor. Yes.
Fallon will have Ana de Armas and Palm Clement.
Is there a new? Is she?
And Jin as well will also be on.
And who?
Jin.
Who's Jin?
You don't know Jin?
I don't know Jin.
He says second studio album's coming out.
If you say so.
Member of BTS.
That's the actress that played
Mantis, yes.
Yes.
She's in Mission Impossible, apparently.
Oh, okay.
And Ana de Armas will be in Ballerina.
They're, however, promoting a Celebrity Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Well, that's nice of them, I guess. Another network as well. MasterChef Season 15 premiere.
Really?
Yes.
That's huge.
That is the premiere tonight.
Oh, Mrs. Clark and I's lives just changed. We have something to watch together.
Congratulations. You should stick around as well because there's a new series coming out right after MasterChef on Fox called Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service.
Nope. We don't watch we just watch MasterChef.
I said Patrick. Gordon Ramsay's on a brand new mission to gather intel on the inner workings of poor food handling practices at struggling restaurants, and he comes in and saves them. It's like bar rescue with Gordon Ramsay almost, more or less.
No.
Studio season 1 finale on Apple TV Plus. And then a big one on Netflix, Sneaky Links.
Now all Chris is doing is just sending me other Patricks. Chris, the game's over.
Unfair.
The game's over. No, he wasn't.
So Chris was feeding you this whole time.
Yes, this is exactly what was going on.
Ridiculous. Sneaky Links, Dating After Dark on Netflix. 6 singles check into a motel looking for love, but there's a twist.
They're already in relationships?
More or less. Their situationships are invited too. And they're coming in to compete against and cause chaos with these.
I don't think I'm going to catch that one, but
no,
probably not going to.
Well, it's too bad because there's nothing else on today.
All right.
Outside
Very
MasterChef.
good. Very good. Thanks today to Drew, I guess. Thanks to Will Leitch. Thanks also to Quint Kessenich, who joined us. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the...
Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive. Thank you.
Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive.
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow? Oh, no.
Stuff and things.
Oh, no.
Stuff and things.
Oh, boy. I think a longtime author and journalist, S.L. Price, is going to join us tomorrow. He has a new lacrosse book out that he's going to talk with us. He's got an event, Enoch Pratt Library, I believe, tomorrow night. So longtime SI writer, and I don't know where S.L. Price is these days, but I think he's going to join us tomorrow. And yeah, stuff and things. We'll get on that. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, Game Day Men's Health, the BMW Championship Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Baltimore's Classic 5 Golf Courses, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costa Sin, Maryland Sports, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Don't forget, if you haven't picked up the print issue of PressBox, go get that today. Thanks to Alex. Remind me.
Alexander, you mean?
Yes, sorry, Alexander. Social.
Alex Wilson _.
Thank you. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at Glenn Clark Radio. New Rita and Glenn available wherever you get your podcasts. Well, it's actually, we put it up in the greatest hits, actually, for Glenn Clark Radio. So you can listen to it there, and on YouTube, just search Rita and Glenn, new episode available. And I feel like there was something else that I wanted to say, but... Oh, check out, we're doing some new video content on TikTok, so make sure you check it out there. At Glenn Clark Radio, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Have a great Wednesday evening. I don't care. Duke sucks.